3-1 level. Presents the 1968 World. I got no feed in here. Can I have a network feed in here, please?
NBC Sports brings you the third game of the 1968 World Series. The St. Louis Cardinals versus the Detroit Tigers from Tiger Stadium in Detroit, Michigan. Brought to you by
Gillette, makers of new foamy lemon lime shave cream and the new Techmatic adjustable razor. By the more than 1,350 branches in Canada of the Imperial Bank of Commerce. And by
Chrysler Canada Limited and the Dodge, Plymouth, Roots, and Simca dealers who sell the quality engineered cars and trucks by Chrysler.
Tiger Stadium, where over 2 million fans saw their Tigers win the American League pennant. The city's waited a long time. The great ticket hunt is over, and we're just about ready for Game 3 of the 68 World Series. Good afternoon, everybody. This is Kurt Gowdy with George Kell and the Buck Rogers of the ballpark with his mini portable camera, Tony Kubek. This city has waited 23 years for a World Series, and they're more than ready. First of all, the pitchers, Ray Washburn, a right-hander for the Cardinals, Earl Wilson, a right-hander for the Tigers. It was very chilly here yesterday, cold this morning, but temperature at game time will be in the 60s. And later on in the game, you're going to see some severe shadows around home plate that could affect this ball game. Not much of a breeze, but George Kell will be taking you around the ballpark here in just a couple of minutes. And working with me today is a fellow who is just as fine a telecaster as he was a great third baseman, one of the most popular players in Detroit Tiger history, George Kell. George?
Thank you, Kurt. Kurt, you know this World Series is taking on a new look down in St. Louis in the first game when Bob Gibson struck out 17 batters and the Tigers were a little tense and I thought had a case of the jitters. They looked bad and a lot of people picked the Cardinals to win in 4 straight. But then Mickey Lolich came along in game number 2 and the Tigers' home run bats began to explode and all of a sudden we've got a brand new World Series. And right here in Tiger Stadium today, there are a lot of people that are thinking maybe that we won't even go back to St. Louis. But if we do, it's going to be a 6 or a 7-game series. It's certainly going to be a wonderful World Series, and as Kurt told you, it's going to be Earl Wilson against Ray Washburn here today. And now we're going to take a look at Tiger Stadium. Here's Tiger Stadium, and this ballpark isn't a lot smaller than St. Louis. It's 340 feet down the left field line. It's only in left center and in right center where you'll notice the big difference. It's 365 feet, where it's 386 in St. Louis. But in extreme center field, it's 441 feet, so it's quite a blow to hit one out in straightaway center field. Over in right center, it's 370 feet. And here are the friendly right field seats where Norm Cash, Jim Northrup and company have hit their home runs all year long. It's 325 feet down the line. And the upper deck in right field extends out over the playing field about 6 feet. And it is possible, and it has happened, that fly balls that are coming straight down into the fielder's glove will hit this upper deck and will be home runs. It doesn't happen often, but it can happen. So Tiger Stadium, while it is smaller than Busch Memorial Stadium in St. Louis, is still a big ballpark, and it takes quite a blow to get it out of here.
Now here are the pitchers. Ray Washburn, a 30-year-old right-hander from Kirkland, Washington, coming back from a sore arm that bothered him in recent years, had his best year in 1968, highlighted by his late season no-hitter at San Francisco. And he's making his first World Series start. Earl Wilson, the 33-year-old slugging pitcher. Born in Louisiana, he was handicapped by many injuries during 68. He missed a month earlier in the season with a knee injury, also had a shoulder injury, but he pitched effectively late in the season. This is his first World Series game. Wilson and Washburn.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Tiger Stadium for the third game of the 1968 World Series. Here are the official lineups. First, the St. Louis Cardinals. Here is the manager of the Cardinals, number 2, Red Schoendienst. Batting first and playing left field, number 20, Lou Brock. Batting second and playing center field, number 21, Curt Flood. Batting third and playing right field, number 9, Roger Maris. Batting fourth and playing first base, number 30, Orlando Cepeda. Batting fifth and catching, number 15, Tim McCarver. Batting sixth and playing third base, number 18, Mike Shannon. Batting seventh and playing second base, number 25, Julian Javier. Batting eighth and playing shortstop, number 27, Del Maxville. Batting ninth and pitching, number 44, Ray Washburn, who is warming up in the bullpen. Here are the remaining players and the coaches of the St. Louis Cardinals. The coaches, Bob Milliken, Billy Moffett, Joe Schultz, Dick Sisler. The players, Nelson Briles, Steve Carlton, Ron Davis, John Edwards, Bill Gagliano, Bob Gibson, Wayne Granger, Joe Horner, Dick Hughes, Larry Jaster, Mel Nelson, Dave Ricketts, Dick Schofield, Ed Spezio, Bob Tolan, and Ron Willis. Now for the Detroit Tigers. Here is the manager of the Tigers, number 10, Mayo Smith. Batting first and playing second base, number 3, Dick McAuliffe. Batting second and playing shortstop, number 24, Mickey Stanley. Batting third and playing right field, number 6, Al Kaline. Batting fourth and playing first base, number 25, Norm Cash. Batting fifth and playing left field, number 23, Willie Horton. Batting sixth and playing center field, number 5, Jim Northrup. Batting seventh and catching, number 11, Bill Freehan. Batting eighth and playing third base, number 8, Don Wirt. Batting ninth and pitching, number 16, Earl Wilson, who's warming up in the bullpen. And here are the remaining players and the coaches for the Detroit Tigers. The coaches, Tony Cuccinello, Wally Moses, Hal Narragon, John Sain. The players, Gates Brown, Wayne Comer, Pat Dobson, John Hiller, Fred Lasher, Mickey Lolich, Kenny McLean, Don McMahon, Tom Magic, Ed Matthews, Ray Euler, Darrell Patterson, Jim Price, Joe Sparma, Dick Trzaskowski, and John Warden. Ladies and gentlemen, your attention please. Please rise and join in the singing of our national anthem, which will be played by Merle Albee's band and will be sung for us by Margaret Whiting.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed, and the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous flight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
This third game of the 1968 World Series being brought to you from Detroit, Michigan, as St. Louis meets Detroit.
Yes, sir. Up periscope. Up periscope. Bearing 150.
Ship ahoy! You've got Dodge Fever. Van Matt Monaco, design 69.
Take a long, slow look. Luxury line of comfort on a 122-inch wheelbase to give you a big car ride at a popular price. Under the hood, there's engine room for up to 440 cubic inches. New Superlight makes night driving super safe. Concealed windshield wipers keep the lines clean as a clipper ship. Inside, you're in command, in first-class comfort.
Dodge is turning up the fever now. Get your cure for new Dodge Fever now.
Dodge Fever at your Dodge dealer.
Well, we're about ready to go with game number 3 of this 1968 World Series. The umpires are at home plate right now, along with manager Red Schoendienst of the Cardinals and Mayo Smith of the Tigers. It'll be Stan Landis of the National League behind home plate. Bill Kenneman of the American League will be at first base. Doug Harvey of the National League will be at second base. Bill Haller of the American League will be at third. Tom Gorman of the National League will be down the left field line, and Jim Honachik of the American League down the right field line. We're getting ready for the throwing out of the first ball, but first let's pause briefly for station identification. This is Charlie Gehringer, Hall of Famer, great Detroit baseball player who played many years, all of his career here in Detroit. That's Mr. John Fetzer on the right. Commissioner Eckert is on his left. And Gehringer has just thrown out the first ball to Bill Freehand, the Tiger catcher. So with the throwing out of the first ball, the Tigers take the field, and this standing room crowd only here in Detroit today gives a rousing welcome to the Tigers as they go on the field. As Kurt told you, Detroit has waited 23 years for this day. It's finally arrived, and it's a beautiful baseball afternoon. A bright, sunshiny day. The weather's cool and crisp. It should go up to about 65 or 66 degrees today. But a fine afternoon. We're getting ready to go and moving in to take over the starting lineups Here's Kurt Gowdy.
All right, thank you, George. The Cardinals will have Lou Brock leading off in left. Kurt Flood will be in center. Roger Maris in right. Cepeda's the cleanup man at first. McCarver's catching, hitting fifth. Shannon at third, batting sixth. Javier's at second, batting seventh. Maxville, the shortstop, batting eighth. And Washburn is pitching. Earl Wilson warming up. The Tigers will have McAuliffe leading off at second. Mickey Stanley's back at shortstop. Al Kaline's in right. Norm Cash batting cleanup at first. Willie Horton in left field hitting fifth. Jim Northrup in center field batting sixth. Bill Freehan is catching, hitting seventh. Don Wirth, the third baseman, batting eighth. And Earl Wilson pitching. A slight breeze is blowing from third to first. Earl Wilson, 33 years old the opening day of this series, lives now in Detroit, Michigan. He was born in Ponchatoula, Louisiana. He was first signed as a catcher by the Boston Red Sox in 1953, converted to a pitcher in his first pro season. He used to be just a hard thrower, relying almost exclusively on fastballs. Now he's come up with a slider and a curve and has developed into a pitcher instead of just a thrower. He was plagued with injuries this year, still winning 13 games. Last year he won 22 and he won 13 the last half of the season in that tough pennant race. Lou Brock. They're waiting for something down the left field line. Had a camera hanging over the stands. Now it's back in the stands as the umpire there, Bill Heller, went over to get everything set. Lou Brock has had 2 hits and 7 times up. Don Ward in again, close at third. The shortstop has to play in on him. He puts the pressure on the infield. And ball one in the dirt by Earl Wilson. Brock hits that ball a lot to the opposite field. Outside, ball 2. Lou Brock, who around any club that plays against him, they always say he means at least 1 run a game, somehow, for the Cardinals, their offensive leader. The 2-0 pitch. Ball 3. Brock's the pitch away from getting on. 3-0 to Lou Brock. Kurt Flood's on deck, and then Roger Maris. That's a strike. Brock thought he was on. He didn't like that call. Now I believe they've called that Wilson went to the mouth. And I think that's the first time, there it is, they're signaling. If that pitcher puts his hand in the area of the mouth, it's an automatic ball. Of course, that's the much-discussed spitter rule that they changed about 3 or 4 times, even in spring training, George.
This is what they finally arrived at, Kurt. If you touch your fingers at all with the mouth, it's ruled a ball. And, of course, if there's 3 on you, as there was on Brock at this point, that makes it ball 4. This one was called by the third base umpire, Bill Haller, the American League umpire, and he gave the sign to Landis, and that was it.
Now we'll see how much this upsets Wilson. Brock at first. Kurt Flood's had 2 hits and 7 times. A ball. One ball, no strikes to Flood. Brock stole 7 out of 7 last year, 3 out of 3 so far this year. Ball 2. Two and nothing to Flood. Good hit and run man. Can handle that bat. There goes Brock. The pitch going inside, and Brock now has stolen 4 out of 4. Well, if this series goes 6 or 7, he may challenge the record of last year, 7 stolen bases that he set. 4 stolen bases already this series, and this is just the 3rd game. 3-0 to Curt Flood. Strike to him, 3-1. By the way, that was Lou Brock's 11th stolen base in World Series competition, and the all-time record is 14, held by Eddie Collins. He stole 14 in 6 World Series. Brock now has 11 in 3 World Series. 3 balls, 1 strike to Flood. And the Cardinals have their first 2 on. And their best 2 base runners are on first and second is Roger Maris, who knows this park for many years, coming in here with the Yankees. He was always a dangerous hitter here with the Yankees, George. Type of fellow you look for, a left-handed full hitter in this ballpark.
This park is tailor-made for Roger Maris. He has the natural stroke, pulls the ball to left, gets right field, gets it up in the air. He's hit a lot of home runs here.
Fouls it back, strike 1. Maris 0 for 3 in the first game of the series. With the Yankees, he hit 36 lifetime home runs here at Tiger Stadium. Very, very deep center field here, one of the deepest in the majors, 440 to straightaway center. But the left and right in range for the home run hitter. 1 ball, 1 strike. And Wilson struggling with his control. There's no score. We're just underway, top of the first inning. Earl Wilson allowed only 11 earned runs in these last 8 games. He finished strong this year. A 1-1 pitch. Took a little something off. Changed speeds, and Maris fouls it off. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Maris's last baseball competition will be this World Series. He's retiring to go into business in Florida. A 1-2 pitch. Oh, just missed in that outside corner. 2-2. Now the 2-2 pitch. Ball 3, 3-2. Brock walked, stole second. Flood is walked. Full count to Maris. Brock trying to grab a good lead. Of course, Flood has one with Cash playing off the bag at first. Let's see what these runners do now. They're going. Bounding ball foul. Now the Cardinals sending their runners on 3-2, runners on first and second. Brock going back to second and Flood to first. And we're getting some warm-up action now in the Tiger bullpen. Joe Sparma. Joe Sparma starting to loosen up. Earl Wilson ready now with another 3-2 pitch. Runners going. Strike 3, throw to third, and they have Brock a double play. Big pitch for Earl Wilson.
Heard a tremendous pitch. This crowd cannot believe what's happened all of a sudden. He took a fastball over the outside part of the plate. I imagine Roger was looking for something to pull. It was a good pitch right on the corner. And Brock didn't get the good jump for the first time in this series. He failed to get the good jump, and you saw him pull up short at third base. Wasn't much point into barreling into work, and he just allowed himself to be tagged.
That's unusual to see Brock coming into a base standing up.
It is.
Orlando Cepeda, the batter. He had 2 hits in the second game at St. Louis after going hitless in the first game. A ball to him. Cepeda hit the ball hard yesterday in a workout by the Cardinals and hit the ball hard again today. This is an ideal ballpark for him because he has power to right center. He can pull the ball to left field here. The left center field power alley's close, but he can also put it in the seats and right. Ground ball to short. Mickey Stanley up with it. Has him. And Wilson picked out of the jam in the first. No runs, no hits, there were no errors, and 1 man left. At the end of the first half inning, it's the Cardinals nothing, the Tigers coming to bat.
This was Canada, 1867. The Bank of Commerce began that year. Canada grew, and Canadian Imperial Bank of Commerce kept pace. A reliable, progressive bank. Its thoughts are still on the future. Already, space-age computers serve some branches to give customers fast electronic service. Eventually, they will link all Commerce branches coast to coast. Also for the near future, Commerce cash dispensers. Conveniently located so that you can get instant cash day or night.
Bank of Commerce, Bank of Commerce, Bank of Commerce, Bank of Commerce.
One of the world's great banks.
This game is authorized under television rights granted by Major League Baseball solely for the entertainment of our audience. And any publication, reproduction, or other use of the pictures, descriptions, and accounts of this game without the express written consent of the commissioner is prohibited. Now, Earl Wilson, with that ball 4 called on the spitball rule and then walking flood, having 2 of the best runners in baseball on, was a pitch or 2 maybe from being out of this game. But he recovered and gets through the top of the first. And now let's see what Ray Washburn does. Washburn will face McAuliffe, Stanley, and Kaline. Washburn. Really hung in there. He could have been through a few years ago with a bad shoulder. Ball 1, but he never gave up on himself, and the Cardinals never gave up on him. This is his 9th pro season. 30 years old. Born in Pasco, Washington. Lives now in Kirkland, Washington. Throws a lot of breaking stuff. Ball 2. Throws a lot of sinking fastballs to left-handers, sliders to right-handers. Has a good curve. He uses his off-speed pitch. And doesn't throw too many fastballs for strikes. The 2-0 pitch is fouled on the left field line, out of play. And this fellow there on deck is Mickey Stanley. On September 18th, Ray Washburn pitched a no-hitter against the Giants of San Francisco. Of course, he followed Gaylord Perry's no-hitter. They had 2 successive no-hitters. Bounding ball to first. Cepeda to nope, himself over. Started to throw to Washburn. But Cepeda, who didn't hit for the average he wanted to, but played an outstanding defensive game at first base for St. Louis all season. McAuliffe's out to the first baseman, unassisted. 1 out. Mickey Stanley, getting a good hand from these Tiger fans. Stanley's played 4 positions for the Tigers this year. When he started the World Series as a shortstop, converting from center field, one of the most talked about moves in World Series history. The ball to Mickey Stanley. McAuliffe had had 3 hits and 9 times up. Stanley's had 3 hits and 9 times up so far in the series. 1 out, no score, last of the first. Ball 2, 2-0. Al Kaline on deck. Number 50 is Tony Cuccinella, the Tigers' third base coach. The 2-0 pitch. Hit out towards second. Javier up over to first in time. Positioned perfectly for Stanley. He was shading second base. And without good position play in the infield, that ball would have been through.
Kurt, they play Stanley to right field in the American League. He hits a lot of balls to right, and in regular season play, that's a base hit for him. But the Cardinals moved around on him, and maybe it's because of Washburn with a lot of curves.
2 down, nobody on. Undoubtedly with Gibson, they wouldn't
right.
figure Stanley to pull the ball or hit the ball back to the middle as much. Al Kaline. A strike. Kaline's 3 out of 9. Had a beautiful running catch on a foul fly off Cepeda in the second game. Mayo Smith in the Tiger dugout. A 1-strike pitch is a let up, 1-1. Wally Moses coaching at first. And Tony Cuccinella at third. Tigers have 2 down, nobody on. Last of the first, no score. A 1-1 pitch. Ball 2. Washburn pitched himself into this World Series as a starter by an excellent last half of the year. He won 8 games from the All-Star game on. He doesn't give up many homers either. The 2-1 pitch. Slider in the outside corner. 2-2. He allowed only 9 home runs this past year. 2-2 to Kaline. Just outside. 3-2 now. Washburn trying to nibble at those corners. Three, 2 pitch. Fly ball, left center. Lou Brock calling for it. That's it. The 3rd out of the last of the first. Tigers go down 1-2-3, and at the end of the first inning, it is no score.
Just look what's in it tonight.
The all-new Plymouth Fury for 1969. So big, so beautiful, so fresh in design, it's hard to believe this is a popular priced car. Fury has more comfort, more roominess, more luxury, and behind the wheel, more excitement.
Just look what's in it tonight.
The 1969 Plymouth Valiant, built to Chrysler standards of 6-passenger roominess and comfort. The honest compact. Fury, Valiant, Barracuda, and Belvedere at your Plymouth dealers.
We're going now to the second inning. McCarver, Shannon, and Javier coming up for the Cardinals. Jim McCarver has had 1 hit in 7 times. That was a triple in the opening game. McCarver should like this ballpark. He can pull that ball to right field also. Wilson on the inside corner for a strike. Dick Sisler coaching at first for the Cardinals, and Joe Schultz at third. One and one. Washburn pitched a no-hitter, and so did Earl Wilson. He pitched one at Fenway Park against the California Angels. Low and inside, ball two. I had the pleasure of broadcasting that game. It was 2-0. He beat Bo Belinsky, who pitched a two-hitter, and Wilson hit a home run in the game. 2-1 pitch to McCarver. Fly ball straight away center. Jim Northrup waiting. One away. Mike Shannon. 2 hits, 8 times. Led the Cardinals in RBIs during the year with 79. Plays the game hard. Ball one to him.
Kurt, you gotta like this guy, Mike Shannon. He's like Stanley. He moved from his familiar right field position into third base, and boy, this fellow gives you 100%. He does a great job at third base too. Not just getting by. He does a great job. You gotta like him.
He had his troubles last year, but he kept improving week by week, and he's even better this year. Right back to the box. Wilson throws him out, and they're 2 down. Julio Javier, the Cardinals' second baseman, is the next batter. Javier leads the Cardinals in base hits in the series so far. He's had 3 out of 7. So he's picking right up where he left off in last year's series when he was one of the leading batters. Saw a little glimpse of Governor Romney in back of Javier as he stepped up. Wilson's slider is low and away for a ball. Governor Romney is right against the Tiger dugout. There he is, Mrs. Romney. Well, you wouldn't figure to be by the Cardinals dugout, would you?
No, sir. Not in the spot.
A 1-0 pitch. Ball 2, 2-0 to Javier with 2 down, nobody on, no score, top of the second.
He's a great Tiger fan, Kurt. He's out here quite often. He and the mayor of Detroit, Jerry Cavanaugh, are in attendance as often as they can be.
A 2-0 pitch to Javier, 3-0 to him. Wilson walked 2 in the first. Had a strikeout. Now he's 3-1 to Javier. Dal Maxfield is the on-deck batter. That's the third walk by Wilson. Brings up Maxfield. Maxfield, no hits in 5 times. Batted .252 for the season, which was the highest since he's been with the Cards. Sends a fly ball to deep left. Willie Horton on the warning pass for the out. Cardinals are retired at the time of the second. No runs, no hits, there were no errors, 1 left. At the end of an inning and a half, it's the Cardinals nothing and the Tigers nothing.
Wherever you are, whatever you're doing, feel confident. Stay dry with new Right Guard Antiperspirant, a completely new product from Right Guard. Right Guard Antiperspirant is a new defense against perspiration. It contains a tested agent that checks perspiration wetness. Feel confident. Stay dry. Get new Right Guard Antiperspirant in the silver can.
10 more blades to go.
5 blades to go.
3. Just 3 blades to go. That's it. I used up all the old blades. Now I can use the new Gillette Super Stainless Steel blade with the miracle plastic coating on the edge. They say it's supposed to spoil you.
The spoiler.
We're going to the last of the second. The Tigers will have Cash, Horton, and Northrup up. This third game of the series is being brought to you live and in color from Tiger Stadium, exclusively on NBC, where America watches more sports than on any other network. Norm Cash, 3 out of 9. He had 3 hits in the second game at St. Louis, including a home run. He's dangerous here. He had 25 home runs during the year. 19 of those 25 were hit right in this ballpark, his home park. Washburn in with a slow ball, 1-0. Cash is one of the few players to ever hit the ball out of the park over the right field roof. And he's done it 4 times. Foul ball. They're giving him off-speed stuff. Ted Williams hit a ball over the right field roof. Mickey Mantle's done it 3 times. Norm Cash has done it 4 times. And look at that shot. That's quite a shot over that right field roof. And this fella has cleared the roof 4 different times. He doesn't look like a big, strong hitter, but he's very compact and has a good compact swing. 1 ball, 1 strike to Cash. In there with a fastball. 1-2. Over the left field roof, the only 2 men who have hit him over the left field roof, Harmon Killebrew and Frank Howard. Howard's shot cleared that left field roof this year. 1-2 pitch. 2-2.
Kurt, I was talking to Norm Cash before the ball game today, and he says all the scouting report says Washburn will throw me nothing but slow pitches. And he says, I think I'm going to look for one today and try to park it out of here. He says until I get 2 strikes on me. Of course, it's 2 strikes now, so he can't look for the slow pitch, I guess.
2-2. Moves him away. 3-2. Nobody on, nobody out. The 3-2 pitch to Cash. A little pop-up out in the shallow left. Scooting out is Maxville. And the shortstop has it. This fella plays quite a shortstop. Not one of those flashy players. You don't know he's around too much, but he just makes the plays all the time. Willie Horton, a hometown boy. Went to Northwestern High School. He was a catcher in high school, an outstanding athlete. And naturally, being a power hitter and a local boy, has a big following here. He's had 2 hits and 7 times, won a home run in St. Louis. Hit 36 home runs during the regular season. Low for a ball. Now McCarver and Washburn want to get together. Looks like the Tigers are going to see a lot of slow stuff today, George. A lot of off-speed curves, teasing pitches.
This is the pitching report on Ray Washburn. Since he hurt his arm, before that he was a good hard-throwing right-hander. Now he's a good curveball pitcher, good slider, excellent control. This was the report, and this is what he's shown us in the first 2 innings.
1 out, nobody on, no score. Inside pitch makes it 2-0 to Willie Horton. This town is baseball mad. You see these banners and signs everywhere. Incidentally, if you look out at second, Javier's almost in back of the bag now with a count in the batter's favor. There's ball 3. 3-0. You can see Javier out there. As Washburn gets up on the rubber, he'll move over and back of second. They're almost putting a shift on. There's 1 out and nobody on. Pumps the fastball in, 3-1. We now are getting a shadow across home plate. The pitcher, you'll notice, is throwing out of that brilliant sunshine, and the hitter's in the dark. And all the batters complain about it.
Oh, it's tough, Kurt. And the farther the shadow goes, the tougher it'll get.
So this is just starting here now. Foul back. Did you ever come out of a dark room into the bright sunshine? This is what these batters are facing here. Usually the center field bleachers wouldn't be full here during a regular season game. Sometimes they are. But they've also got a lot of white and colors out there now in the bleachers as a background. 3-2 to Willie Horton. He's on. First base runner for the Tigers. Washburn didn't give him anything to hit. Slow breaking pitch. Jim Northrup, 1 hit in 8 times so far. Batted .264 during the season. 21 homers, 90 RBIs. 3rd in the American League in runs batted in. There's power all the way down this Tiger lineup. They led the major leagues in home runs by a good margin. 1-0 to Northrup. Ball 2. There are 181 home runs hit in this ballpark this year, and only 66 hit in St. Louis. Nearly triple. 2 balls, no strikes to Jim Northrup. Rips it. Foul. Foul. First base umpire has called it foul. Bill Kinnaman. Northrup. Bill Kinnaman in the American League. Tiger fans thought the ball went over the bag. Neil Smith coming out now, going back. Willie Horton on first, 1 out. Well, that was nearly real trouble for the Cardinals. That ball would have been down in the right field corner. Horton could have been the third if it had been handled cleanly out in the right corner area. Might have scored. The 2-1 pitch. Fastball for a strike. 2-2. Washburn now will be pitching 2-2 to Jim Northrup. Fly ball in the right field. Roger Maris is waiting for it. 2 down. Washburn took just a little off that time. And had Northrup swinging out in front of him. Bill Freehand is looking for his first hit of the series. He's gone 0 for 6. He had 25 home runs during the year and 84 runs batted in. Eight of these regulars had homers in the double figures. A ball to him. And the pitcher, Earl Wilson, gets 7 himself. Horton at first, 2 down, no score. Low for the ball, 2-0. 4 of the Tigers in the lineup today have over 20 home runs apiece. 2 down, Horton at first, 2-0 to count to Freehand. 3-0. neither pitcher has been real sharp with his control. Three hands is on. The Tigers now have runners on first and second, 2 out, and Don Wirt the batter. Wirt, 1 hit in 6 times. Batted only 200, dropping way off from his normal average, but had 12 homers and still struck in some key hits. Willie Horton's at second. Bill Freehan's at first, 2 down. No score. Last of the second. Slider just missing. One ball, no strikes to Don Wirt. Foul ball over this way. Back in the stand. Shannon, as he came from third over toward the foul ball, had to shield his eyes. It's a blinding sun, George, when you look up at it.
It's a tough sun for the third baseman here and the left fielder. And another thing, the wind is tricky. Balls that go up over the stand, Kurt, and look like they're out of play will blow back onto the playing field. And I'm sure Shannon is aware of this, but he must be.
This wind is picked up now, blowing from third to first. It has freshened quite a bit. The pitch, 1-2. So anything hit in the air now toward right field is going to be given a boost today. Two down, runners on first and second. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Don Wirt. Curve is low, ball 2, strike 2. Earl Wilson on deck.
Washburn is a little discouraged with himself, Kurt. He normally has good control. This is Earl Wilson. And he hasn't been able to hit the corners as yet. And he's showing his displeasure with himself.
2-2 pitch. Struck him out on a speed delivery. Washburn pitches out of trouble. No runs for the Tigers, no hits. There were no errors and 2 left. And at the end of 2, it is still 0-0.
Oh, I'm so nervous. What if I got Dodge fever? Right in the middle of cutting this $2 million diamond.
Some things just can't wait, like the Dodge Dart Swinger 340. Young, new compact with a wild new personality. The size, style, and looks say it all.
Please, I don't want to make a boo-boo.
With bumblebee stripes, dual exhaust, 4 on the floor, and a new high-performance hood. What gives the Swinger its swing? 340 cubes of V8.
Easy. Oh, no. Oh, boy, am I going to get yelled at.
Dodge Dart Swinger 340 for 1969. Dodge Fever. More distracting than ever.
Dodge is turning up the fever now.
Our man in the stands, Tony Kubek.
Thank you, Kurt. We're talking to the Commissioner of Baseball, General William Eckert. General, we're having a whale of a series.
Tony, we sure are, and I want to greet all these millions of fans at this exciting third game of the World Series after 2 good ones before this, and thank all the millions of fans for their wonderful support of baseball over the years. With Gibson and McLean pitching tomorrow, I'm sure we'll have a record high of TV viewers for that great game, the highest record history in of all sports.
Mr. Commissioner, thank you so much. Hope you're enjoying the ball game.
I sure am, Tony, and all the best to you.
Thank you, sir. Now let's go back upstairs.
NBC, the World Series Network. Not only bringing you the World Series of Baseball, but we'll have the Super Bowl game on next January 12th from Miami, and the NCAA College Basketball, the World Championship of College Basketball, all on NBC. Ray Washburn leading off. Fastball in for a strike to him. Washburn, Brock, and Flood for the Cardinals here in the third. Wilson has walked 3, struck out 1. Big chopper hit out to Mickey Stanley. Washburn's out, 1 down. Top of the order now, and Lou Brock, who walked his first time. We've had 5 walks so far. Neither pitcher exactly putting that ball where he wants to yet, but they both may settle into it. Well, every time Brock steps in, that buzz starts.
Must be the most exciting ball player in baseball today, Kurt.
A ball to him.
When you talk about an offensive ball player, this is it right here. He's tremendous.
He's built for speed, that lean, whippet body. 1 ball, no strikes. Low and away, ball 2. Wilson's been pitching him low and away.
Sure, he doesn't want to walk him, but he seems to be trying to hit the outside corner with it.
Curt Flood's on deck. The Cardinals have 1 out, nobody on. There's no score in the top of the third. This may be a tough play. Stanley over, fires, safe. Shortstop cutting in front of the bag. And against Brock, of course, with the pressure on you all the time, you got to get rid of that ball quickly with something on it. Brock's on again, and they have scored at a base hit. Here's Curt Flood now, who walked his first time. Brock has already stolen 1 base in the game. Ball 1. Mayo Smith has told his pitchers, if Brock's on first, I want something on that ball to Flood up there. Flood has been the most consistent Cardinal hitter. You're worrying about Brock and groove him to Flood. He can move Brock around the third. There goes Brock, playing hit and run, fouled off.
Kurt, how would you like to spend your career batting behind Lou Brock? Wouldn't that be wonderful?
And how?
You're going to always be hitting 2-0 and 3-1. You're going to be getting fastballs. There'll be no trick pitches with Brock at first. Must be wonderful. Of course, you've got to pay a price, too. You've got to take a lot of strikes.
That's right. 1-1 now. 1 out. Brock at first. Good stop by catcher Bill Freehand. 2-1. We've had only 1 hit so far. That's been an infield hit. But both pitchers have been in trouble with their control. 2-1 to Curt Flood. There he goes. Foul over there for it is Norm Cash. He'll have room in front of the Cards dugout. Flood was trying to hit behind the runner to right and foul it off. 2 down. Brock at first. Roger Maris coming up. The biggest pitch of this game for Earl Wilson was in the first inning with runners on first and second. Nobody out. 3-2 to Maris. Fired a fastball that Maris took for strike 3 called. Brock was running, and he was out of third in a double play. At that time, the Tigers had Joe Sparma warming up in the bullpen. Ball 1 to Roger Maris.
Kurt, here's where the Tiger scouting report would apply better than any time I know. It says it isn't a question of whether Brock's going to run or not, but on which pitch. And you know he's going sooner or later.
1-0. In their for a strike. 1-1. Wilson was saying today, look, they told me Brock will steal, but to work on the other one.
He and Brock are great friends. Someone said, will Brock run on you? He said, not till he gets on first base.
Right. 1-1. Look at him study Wilson. Wilson drives him back.
He almost caught him leaning, Kurt. He was going.
1 ball, 1 strike. Maris the batter, 2 down. There it goes. Foul off. 1-2. So the last 3 times Brock has done, his hitters fouled him off. Brock had injury problems in the early part of the season. Had a groin injury. It slowed him down, but when he got well, he stole 25 bases in his last 28 games. Wound up with 62 stolen bases. 1-2 pitch. A little bit low, 2-2 to Maris. Cardinals and the Tigers. Times Brock is done. His hitters fouled him off. Brock had injury problems in the early part of the season. Had a groin injury. It slowed him down, but when he got well, he stole 25 bases in his last 28 games. Wound up with 62 stolen bases. 1-2 pitch. A little bit low, 2-2 to Maris. Cardinals and the Tigers, 0-0 in the third. A lob over there. Once again, he's going outside. The throw is a good one. He stole again. Brock now has 5 stolen bases in the series.
Here he goes, and the throw was right there, but it hit Brock, I think, as he slid into it. You can see the throw hit Brock on the leg just as it hit the glove of Stanley and bounded away. So another stolen base for this great base runner.
Well, he's only 2 away from his own record of last year in 7 games, and this is just the 3rd game of the series. Roger Maris with a 3-2 pitch. Ball 4. That's the 4th walk given up by Wilson. The Cardinals have runners on first and second. 2 out. And their cleanup man coming up, Orlando Cepeda. Wilson is not a brilliant control pitcher, but much better than he used to be when he first came up. He walks 2 or 3 batters on a ratio of 9 innings to pitching. Cepeda's making much better contact this year in the World Series than he did last year. He grounded out hard in the first inning. He hit a couple of balls hard in St. Louis that were out. Two down. Runners on first and second. And a ball to him. 1-0. Cards had 2 walks in the first, a base on balls in the second, now another walk here in the third. The 1-0 pitch. 2-0. Lou Brock's at second, Roger Maris is at first, 2 down. 0-0 game. We're in the third. Went after a low out inside pitch and fouled it upstairs. And a good catch up there in the sky view seats. Brock at second. Maris at first. You notice how those shadows now are starting to creep out. It'll probably be around the 6th, 7th inning before they reach the mound, and the pitch will be throwing out of that sunshine most of the day. The 2-1 pitch to Cepeda. James speeds on him and fooled him. 2-2. Cepeda likes that pitch out over the plate. That's the one he'll drill into right center with power. Brock at second. Maris at first. 2 down. Earl Wilson has a count of 2-2 on Orlando Cepeda. Fouls it off at the plate. Tomorrow, Bob Gibson and Denny McLain. The rematch. They're all important, of course, but the Tigers feel this is a very, very important game for them. At home, they'd like to go 1 up facing Gibson tomorrow instead of 1 down to face him. There's a high drive in the deep left center. Willie Horton and Northrup scissoring in front of him for the grab. Looks like you might have trouble on that one. And Cepeda nearly put the ball in the seats. No run, 1 hit, there were no errors, and 2 left. At the end of 2.5, it is the Cardinals nothing and the Tigers nothing.
Once you get off the beaten track, weekend driving can be fun. Though sometimes the unexpected can happen, especially when your wife is with you. The chair that looked just like it matched Granny's set didn't, of course. But it's astonishing the number of things she's always wanted. She's never mentioned till now. That's when it's nice to have cash on hand at the Commerce. Cash for spending, cash for saving. The Commerce checking account plus savings account gives you the best of both worlds. Lets a man be his own master. Yes, sir. Weekend drivers sometimes get an unexpected bonus, especially when they keep cash on hand. Keep cash on hand at the Commerce.
Tomorrow, NBC Sports will bring you an outstanding sports doubleheader. The World Series report, the 4th game of the series, and then American Football League action, Boston at Oakland, Miami at Houston, Cincinnati at Denver. George Kell and I were talking about that drive. We told you the wind is blowing from third to first. I believe that wind held that drive up, or that might have been in the seats, George.
It very well could have been, Kurt. He hit the ball well. He pulled it into left field, but by the time that, here's the flags blowing, gives you some idea how hard the wind is blowing. By the time Northrup caught it, he was well over in the left center. It brought it back, I'm sure.
Speaking of power, here's a fellow hit a ball as far as anybody has in this game. Earl Wilson takes a slow one for a strike. He hit 7 home runs this year. He's hit 33 lifetime home runs in the American League. And he takes his hardest cut as anyone. Strike two. And the Cardinals know that he's dangerous as a hitter. A two-strike pitch to him. 1-2. This is what Washburn does, is shows you that fastball. Wilson, McAuliffe, and Stanley, last of the third. Dropped the slow curve over. Second strikeout for Ray Washburn. But Wilson didn't have a swing. Now Dick McAuliffe moving in. McAuliffe grounded out his first time. One and oh. McAuliffe, a slasher. Very aggressive hitter. Good power for an infielder. 2-0 to him. Both these pitchers have thrown quite a few pitches already in this game. The 2-0 delivery. Fastball's over. 2-1. One out, nobody on. The score, 0-0. And the 2-1 pitch to McAuliffe. Quick with that one, but high. 3-1. Throwing that fastball, George. He's been quick today.
He is quick. He's throwing more fastballs than the Tigers expected him to throw, and he's faster, I think, than they thought he would be.
3-1. Beats it foul down the first base line. 3-2. Now the wind has suddenly dropped off. A top coat or a heavy sweater or jacket feels very comfortable in the shadows. Three 2 pitch to McAuliffe. Foul ball. Line drive base hit in the left center. Luke Rock up with it. McAuliffe lost his cap, or his batting helmet, as he turned first. And before Mickey Stanley comes up, we pause briefly for station identification. This is the NBC television network. This is Kurt Gowdy with George Kell and Tony Kubek. 0-0. Tigers have McAuliffe at first, one out. Mickey Stanley grounded out his first time. To Javier, the second baseman, who had played Stanley over by second. A ball with a runner on first now. Javier's not shading second the way he was Stanley's first time up. Stanley's a good hit and run man. He can control the bat and hit behind the runner. He and Kaline about the two best of the Tigers are the right-handed batters. So he can go to right field. Let's see if he tries it. 1-1. I'm telling you, this Washburn's quick. I didn't know he threw this hard.
Kurt, he did a couple of years ago before he hurt his arm, and he hasn't been throwing this hard. But today, well, World Series competition, you know, he's right in the groove, and he's throwing just about as hard as Wilson.
1 ball, 1 strike. McAuliffe at first, 1 out. Tries to hit the right, grounds it to Javier. Javier can only go to first base with it. Couldn't come up cleanly to start the double play. Well, McCullough now at second. 2 down. And Al Kaline, the batter, flied to left his first time. Kaline for 16 years here with the Tigers. One of the finest ball players in the history of this organization. Out with injuries. He had a hairline fracture in his arm that put him out for a month. He was hurt again in August, September. He finished strong and wound up as a leading hitter in the Tiger Ball Club, which is nothing new for him. Chasing this low breaking pitch. Take a look and watch Javier again. He's really shading these right-handed batters. See him over there? He leaves quite a hole between himself and Cepeda. No balls, 1 strike. In there with it, strike 2. 0-2 to Kaline. There are 2 down. McAuliffe at second. No score. Last of the third. One and 2. The outfield well around toward left for Kaline. Carver thought they had it. 2-2. Our overhead shot from the stadium roof. Gives you NBC's bird's eye view of Tiger Stadium. 2-2. There's a long drive to left. That one is gone. A home run for Kaline. Years he waited to play in a World Series, and he's just hit his first World Series home run. So the Tigers lead 2-0. All won the Norman Cash.
Kurt, you just said it. He waited 16 years, and he brought the rafters down here. This is probably the most popular player that ever played in Detroit. And with this big crowd here, they just went wild.
2 down, nobody on. Cash fouls it out of play, 1-1. Looked like he hit a breaking pitch.
He did. He hit a curveball. It was a good pitch, breaking down and away. I would imagine Washburn got it exactly where he wanted it, but Kaline's one of the great hitters of baseball, just like Cepeda. If he gets his pitch, he's going to hit it, and he drilled it deep into the seats. There was never any doubt about it.
So the Tigers, who rely on the long ball game, Mayo Smith says, when we don't hit home runs, we don't win too much. But they hit a lot of home runs, and fairly consistently game after game. A home run has them out in front. Outside, ball 2. The Cardinals relying on their balance, speed, all-around excellence. The 2-1 pitch. Little chopper. That'll have to be charged by Javier. His throw, good play by Javier to throw out Norm Cash, and that's it in the last of the third as the Tigers take the lead. 2 runs, Kaline will get a tremendous hand. 2 hits, there were no errors, nobody left. At the end of 3, Tigers 2 and Cardinals nothing.
for 1969. America's first low-price, high-performance car is back. And this year there's a convertible, a hardtop, as well as the original two-door coupe. There's only one place to catch Roadrunner, at your Plymouth dealer. Go take a look and see what Plymouth's up to now.
Nevertheless, Tony Kubek.
Thank you, Kurt. Our host for the World Series here in Detroit, the owner of the Tigers, Mr. John Fetzer. Mr. Fetzer, Al Kaline just put a smile on your face.
Indeed, he did. I'm so glad to see Al in the game today and see him come through the way he did. He's going to be a mighty happy boy tonight.
Mr. Fetzer, thank you so much. Let's get back to the action now. Let's go on back upstairs.
Tim McCarver in the fourth inning will start it off for the Cardinals, to be followed by Mike Shannon and Julio Javier. Carver flied to center his first time. Foul ball, rammed hard down the right field line. In his first 3 innings, Wilson has had 4 walks. Struck out 1 man and given up 1 hit, an infield hit to Lou Brock. He's delivered 50 pitches in the first 3 innings. Ball 1, strike 1. Fellow likes to throw around 100 pitches, a little over 100 pitches in a 9-inning game. That's a well-pitched game. He's already delivered 50 in the first 3 innings. Foul out of play, and the count 1-2 to Tim McCarver. McCarver can do something another catcher used to do, who was a manager here, a catcher with the Tigers. Mickey Cochran could run. You don't find catchers who can run as well as these two, the way Cochran used to and the way McCarver can. Very good. There's a base hit in the right field. Kaline up with it. McCarver's on first. And Kaline uncorking one of his strong, accurate throws. Mike Shannon will be coming up now. Shannon bounced to the pitcher his first time. Two runs, 2 hits for the Tigers. No runs, 2 hits for the Cardinals. Top of the 4th inning. One ball, no strikes to Shannon. Shannon, the only St. Louis-born player on this Cardinal team. Ball 2. Carver at first, nobody out. The 2-0 pitch. Inside for ball 3. We'll keep our eye on that Tiger bullpen. No stirring out there as of right now. They figured Joe Sparma to be their long man in relief. 3 balls and no strikes. He walked him. Runners on first and second. Julio Javier is coming up. Javier walked his first time. Javier, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He's been on base 5 times already. In the 3 games. Nobody out, runners on first and second. A strike on him, 0-1. The on-deck batter will be Del Maxwell. We're nearing the bottom of the Cardinals' batting order. One strike count. One and one. Slider was low. Carver started it off with a single. He's at second. Shannon's at first. He walked. Wilson pitching very deliberately here in the fourth. Same pitch he gave him on the first one. Javier a little too much out in front. One ball, two strikes to Javier. Two. Giving him that hard slider. McCarver at second, Shannon at first. Now Javier wants the pitch cloth. I believe we are going to get some action now in the Tiger bullpen. A catcher has moved out, and here comes the pitcher out of the bullpen now. That's Dobson. Pat Dobson. 2-2 to Javier. Again, 3-2. Wilson has already walked 5 men. He's 3-2 to Javier with runners on first and second, nobody out. The Tigers are leading 2-0 in the fourth. Runners holding a strike 3 on the inside corner. Javier very unhappy with that call. Giving umpire Stan Landis a blast and still blasting him as he walks toward the dugout. So now it's 1 out, runners on first and second. Del Maxwell flying to deep left. And Javier is mad as he storms into the Cardinal dugout. Maxwell can be dangerous. Look at his batting average and his power production, you wouldn't think so, but he sticks in some big hits for the Cardinals. The runner's going to throw to third, and they got him at third base. And now Joe Schultz is arguing. So is McCarver. McCarver breaking on the pitch. Here's Red Shandy slowly walking out of the Cardinal dugout. The Cardinals thought he had third base stolen. Bill Heller of the American League called the play. That's twice now the Cardinals have had a man stolen Or thrown out of third. Red Schoendienst very calmly. How calm he'll be when he gets out there with Haller, we'll wait to see. So it's 2 down. Shannon's at second. Cardinals have their runners going, and McCarver's out at third. The pitch was a ball to Maxville.
Kurt, you remember how slowly Paul Richards used to walk from the dugout? Here's the replay of it. You can decide for yourself if McCarver was out. Wirt has the ball, the tag, and he's out from here.
Looks
like he's out about it. Yeah, he had it waiting for him. Talking about Paul Richards, used to walk so slowly from the dugout as if nothing was bothering him at all. But then when he reached the umpire, it all broke loose.
Like somebody lit a fuse when he got out there. 2 down. This is twice in a game. Now, Wilson's had situations. Runners on first and second where a strike in the corner and then an attempt at steal has really helped him. Changed it all around for him. 1-0 pitch to Maxville. Foul back. Wilson's been in constant trouble, though. Cardinals have had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 base runners on against him. And if you join us late, Al Kaline's 2-run homer in the last of the third is the scoring in this game right now. So the Tigers are ahead 2-0.
Kurt, you would have to believe that twice in this ball game, Wilson's been 1 pitch away from being out of there.
I believe so, George. 1 ball, 1 strike. Shannon at second, 2 down. 2-1. Now Wilson didn't like that call. Boys are a little edgy today. 2-1. Off Wilson's glove. Throws. Got him. He may have saved a run there. That ball was going right back to the box and would have scored Mike Shannon. That was really hit. No runs, 1 hit, there were no errors, and 1 man left. At the end of 3.5 innings, it's the Tigers 2 and the Cardinals nothing.
If you've been looking for a lime shaving cream that's not too sweet, Gillette Foamy has what you've been looking for. Because Gillette Foamy has this, the lemon lime. It's part lemon, part lime. The essence of the lemon keeps the tang in the lime. And that keeps this shaving cream from smelling too sweet. Gillette Foamy with lemon lime. Wait till your face gets a taste of it.
Take razor in right hand. Right hand. Now press button A.
You'd think to change your old Techmatic razor into our new adjustable Techmatic might be a big deal. But all you do is take out your old cartridge and put in our new one. It not only has all the advantages of the old Techmatic, but it now adjusts for a closer shave. You also get one other little satisfaction. You did it all yourself.
Win or lose, at the conclusion of the World Series, the St. Louis Cardinals will serve as U.S. ambassadors as they spend 3 weeks touring Japan while playing against the outstanding stars of that baseball-loving nation. Once again, the game of baseball will serve as a catalyst to bring 2 nations closer to one another. Tomorrow, Bob Gibson against Denny McLain. World Series report will be on at 12:30 Eastern Time, 11:30 Central, 10:30 Mountain Time, 9:30 in the coast. And 1 o'clock will be the starting time of the game. Bob Gibson and Denny McLain. Last of the 4th inning, Willie Horton up. Horton walked the first time. Ray Washburn on the mound for the Cardinals. The ball. Washburn has walked 2. Struck out 2, given up 2 hits. A single to McAuliffe and a home run to Kaline. Fouls the breaking pitch off. 1-1. Once again, the Cardinal outfield is set very deep for Horton and swings way around toward left. And now you see Javier, not quite a shift, but really shading second base. They play Kaline and Horton to pull that ball to left all the way. 1-1 pitch. Missed shoulder high inside, 2-1. That last drive by Maxwell missed by an inch or two. Of clearing Wilson's glove going into center field for a Cardinal run. There's a ball 3 now. Wilson's had a charmed 4-inning shutout. 3-1. Horton hits the bounding ball to Shannon. Throws him out. Horton out third to first, 1 out. Jim Northrup coming up, fly to right his first time. Bill Freehand will be on deck. High and tight to him for a ball. 1-0. Now high and away, ball 2. Doing nothing to Jim Northrup. Pull the string, and that's high for ball 3. Oh, he was behind Horton 3-1. Now he's behind Northrup 3-0. See if they give Northrup the green light here if the pitch is in. Goes after it, fouls it back, 3-1. One pitch coming in. Fly ball to left field. Lou Brock camped under it. 2 down. Bill Freehand walked his first time. Ex-University of Michigan football star. Quite a bit of Michigan flavor in this Tiger team. Northrup's a Michigan boy. Freehand, Willie Horton. Ball to Freehand. Mickey Stanley, another Michigan boy. 2-0. Homegrown product. Tigers are leading 2-0, last of the 4th. Right now they have 2 out and the base is empty. Slider over, 2-1. High fly ball, shallow left center. Maxwell going out. Brock comes on, easier play for him. And that's it. The Tigers are out 1, 2, 3 in the 4th. At the end of 4 innings, it's the Detroit Tigers 2 and the St. Louis Cardinals nothing.
You see that statue? They picked me to bring it in. I handle my cranes with finesse. As long as I don't get Dodge fever, no sweat. Right?
Right. It's a thing of beauty, isn't it? 1969 Dodge Charger SE. Charger excitement in a stunning new special edition. packed with extras that aren't extra on this one.
So far, so good.
In here, a world of vinyls and leathers and wood grain luxury. A new front grille just for looks, and an optional 440 Magnum V8 just for kicks.
Easy. Oh, no.
Charger's special edition for 1969. It's why Dodge Fever is more smashing than ever.
Dodge is turning up the fever now.
Right now, let's go downstairs to our roving camera.
Thank you, Kurt. Here's a fellow that has seen this Tiger Ball Club many times this year. Earl Weaver, the manager of the Baltimore Orioles. Earl, what about this Tiger Ball Club? What's their strong suit?
Well, the strong point is definitely hitting. They have three good pitchers, and Wilson and McLean and Lolich, who proved it the other day. But their strong point's hitting, Tony.
Have you had a chance to see Gibson yet?
Yes, I have. And he really shut him off, but Sunday's another day.
That's a pretty strong point, too, isn't it? Earl Weaver, thank you so much. Let's go on back upstairs.
We're waiting for Ray Washburn to come out of the Cardinal dugout and start it off. There he is. Washburn, Brock, and Flood for the Cardinals in the top of the fifth. Al Kaline hit a two-run homer in the third. He hit it in the upper deck in left field. That's been the scoring of the game. The Cardinals have repeatedly threatened but haven't been able to crack through against Earl Wilson. This game is being seen on NBC, where America watches more sports than on any other network. Washburn grounded out his first time. Wilson fires his fastball over. Wilson has walked 5, struck out 2, given up 2 singles. One ball, 1 strike to Washburn. Twice the Tigers have had warm-up action in their bullpen. Once in the first inning, and again in the top of the fourth. On the corner, Washburn jumping away. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Strike 3 on the inside corner. The third strikeout for Earl Wilson. And Landis catching it today from Javier and now Washburn. Here's Lou Brock. Brock has walked and had an infield hit. He's stolen 2 bases. And looks like a serious challenge to his own World Series record of 7 stolen bases in a series. Playing the same setup. There he is on again. That's the 3rd time in a row he's been on. Getting on like this, George, I don't think there's much doubt he'll break his own stolen base record.
I think he will, Kurt. And the worst thing about it for the Tigers, they've become so concerned with Lou Brock, it seems to upset the whole pitching rhythm of Wilson or Lolich or McLean, whoever might be pitching. And so far, they have not been able to capitalize on it, but they've threatened.
Kurt Flood has walked and fouled out. Brock's at first, 1 out. Tigers are leading 2-0. This is the 5th inning. Brock is going. The inside pitch, the throw is safe. That's his 3rd stolen base of the game. He has now tied an all-time World Series record of 3 stolen bases in a game. Wagner, Davis, and he's
There's a replay, Kurt, coming up. Freehand made a good throw. It was a little bit high, as you can see, and that's what enabled Brock to go in. This is from center field, as you can see Brock going in. Had the throw been down, McAuliffe had a good chance at him, but it was a little bit high.
1 ball, no strikes to Curt Flood. 1-1 now. So Lou Brock putting on another base-running show in the World Series. Not only matching last year's showing, but looks like he'll exceed it. He stole a base in the first game, 2 in the second, and 3 here in this game. Wilson again hitting that corner with his slider. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Thomas Wagner stole 3 bases in a World Series game back in 1909. Willie Davis in 1965 for the Dodgers. And Lou Brock last year stole 3 bases in the game. So he has a chance, if he gets on base again, to break the all-time record for most stolen bases in a World Series game.
He's got a chance right now, Curt, if they don't hold him a little closer to second.
1 ball, 2 strikes. He stole 3rd last year in the 7th game at Fenway Park. Now they're trying to keep him close. There's a base hit in the left field. Brock's coming in. Flood's going for 2. It's a 2-1 ball game now. Tigers, and Flood with a double is in scoring position with 1 out. Brock had the pressure on Wilson getting a hit, stealing second. They had to worry about him getting the lead going. Here's Mayo Smith coming out. Right now, there's no one warming up for the Tigers, but I believe there will be shortly. There's some action in the, here they are coming out now. Pat Dobson's starting to warm up. He warmed up last inning. So the Cardinals have broken through in the 5th. After Washburn struck out, Brock singled, stole second, scores on Flood's double. It is now the Tigers 2 runs, 2 hits, the Cardinals 1 run, 4 hits. Smith talking to the home plate umpire, Stan Landis. Maybe something about Wilson's condition.
Could be, Curt, that he's hurt.
That line drive, remember, that hit him, hit the glove, that maybe injured hand. He's explaining to Landis. Wilson says he's all right. And as Roger Maris stands in, Cardinals have Curt Flood at second, 1 out. Tigers ahead 2-1. NBC television hopes you're enjoying the 3rd game of the series. Maris has struck out and walked. A bit outside to him for a ball. Dobson, a hard-throwing right-hander, is heating up as quickly as he can in case he's needed here in the 5th. A 1-0 pitch. 2-0. Cepeda on deck. Nearly hit the ball in the stands his last time up. Two-0 pitch to Maris. Ball 3-0. Here's Cepeda, waiting to come up next. That puts Maris on. That's the 6th walk given up by Earl Wilson. Manager Smith is coming out again. It looks like we'll have a pitching change. He walked 2 in the first, 1 in the second. Walked another man in the third. Shannon in the fourth. Now he's walked Maris here in the 5th. And Pat Dobson will come on to pitch. The Cardinals have 1 out, runners on first and second. They have scored a run. There's a break in the action here at Tiger Stadium with a score. Detroit Tigers 2 and St. Louis Cardinals 1. Pat Dobson will be the new pitcher for the Tigers while he warms up. Let's go downstairs again.
Thank you, Kurt. We're talking not only one of my favorite people, one of the favorite Americans in this country, Mr. Bob Hope. Bob, welcome to the World Series.
Nice to see you, Tony, and I'm enjoying this.
What about that Lou Brock?
Oh, is he something? He's dangerous all the way around. He's been on that base every time, hasn't he? And he moves. I mean, he moves faster than Crosby going to the bench.
Did you have a chance to see Gibson McLean yet?
Yes, I did. I saw the first game, and of course Gibson set that record, and I had them both. I filmed them both here last night, and they're both pretty funny too.
When are we going to be able to see that?
I think that October the 14th.
Well, that's
But this
wonderful.
is no place to get a plug, is it?
Yes, it is.
Thank you.
Right here. Bob Hope, thank you so much. Nice having you at
Nice
the series.
to see you. Great. Earl Wilson just went out. I think Ed Sullivan's coming in next.
He is. Thank you so much, Mr. Bob Hope. Let's go on back upstairs.
Funny thing, Crosby says nice things about him, too.
He does. He says nice things about everybody. A great American, as Tony says, Bob Hope.
What about Pat Dobson, George? You saw him all year.
He's a fine young pitcher. He throws hard. His best pitch is a curveball. When he's right, Kurt, he has about as fine a curveball as there is in the American League. This record is misleading. He's won 5 and lost 8, but he's been a much better pitcher than that for the Tigers. Mostly in relief. He started a few ball games, but he's primarily a relief pitcher, and he's at his best with men on.
Well, he'll face Cepeda. Cepeda grounded out in the first, and then hit a long fly to left center in the third. That nearly made it, not quite. Kurt Flood's at second. Roger Maris is at first, 1 down. The Tigers are ahead 2-1 in the top of the 5th. Fouls it off. Earl Wilson, in 4 1/3 innings, allows 4 hits, 1 run. He's responsible for the 2 men on. Walked 5 and struck out 3. Don McMahon is starting to warm up for the Tigers. Veteran right-handed reliever. Don McMahon. Fastball is over. Strike 2. 0-2.
I'm sure the Cardinal books said a lot of curveballs to Dobson, and you had to believe Cepeda might have been looking for the curve right there.
Tim McCarver on deck. Dobson has him 2 strikes. He popped it up off the handle. Bill Freehand. Puts it away, out number 2. He jammed him right on the handle. Here comes McCarver now. Tim has fly to center and single to right. We were kidding McCarver before the game. Told him the computer on today's show has picked you as the star of the series. He says, I don't want any of those computers jinxing me. Let me get out there and play. 2 down, runners on first and second. Tigers ahead 2-1. Inside to him, a ball, 1-0. Cars will get a big lead. Cashing way off the bag at first with his left-handed hitter up. 1-0 pitch. Espen's dangerous down the left field line, and foul dropping into the Tiger bullpen. Some fan have a sign out there, go get me some tickets with it. They've had the greatest ticket hunt on here, probably in the history of the World Series. The city for 23 years has been without a World Series, and when they finally realized their dream, everybody in this area wanted a World Series ticket. They tell me that they were scalping them for $100 a piece outside the ballpark and around the hotel lobby. 1 ball, 1 strike to McCarver. Runners on first and second, 2 out. Bounding ball foul. Over in the Carbs dugout. Tigers have had an excellent bullpen this year. Their bullpen failed them last year. It cost them a pennant probably in the last 2 or 3 weeks of the season when they couldn't hold leads. This year they've had very strong bullpen. Outside of McMahon and Wyatt, a young bullpen. Strong arms in it. They're power pitchers. Time calls. Carver at Astor time. That shot is from the camera perched on top of the stadium. Curving into the dirt. 2-2. There's the lead runner. Kurt Flood at second. Roger Maris at first. 2 down. Two pitch coming up. There's a drive deep to right, and that one is sailing into the seat. A 3-run homer for Tim McCarver. And the Cardinals have taken the lead in the top of the 5th inning. It's Park tailor-made for the left-handed full hitter. They talked about the Tiger power, but the Cardinals said, well, you know, we've got some fellas that can hit too. Maybe that ballpark will help Brock and McCarver. We heard about the short right field seats there. Ball 1. 3 of the runs this inning have been charged to Wilson. McCarver's run is charged to Dobson. Four big runs in for St. Louis in the 5th. They're leading now 4-2. It's a base hit in the center field by Shannon. Cardinals have come up with 4 hits here in the top of the 5th inning. And Javier is the batter. Javier has walked and struck out. Incidentally, in the last of the 5th, the Tigers have the bottom of their order. Wirtz gets the lead off, then the pitcher. And with McMahon warming up, we'll probably have a pinch hitter for Dobson. Cardinals now about hit the Tigers, 6-2. Fastball. Javier had his cut. Tim McCarver has hit his 2nd World Series home run. He hit his first one in 1964 against the Yankees with 2 on in the 10th inning in New York. That was the 5th game and gave the Cardinals the victory 5-2. ball, 1-1. Mike Shannon at first, 2 down. Foul back, 1-2. Redbirds are flying here in the 5th. 4 runs. They're leading now 4-2. One ball, 2 strikes to Javier. Low to him for a ball, 2-2. In the 5th. 4 runs. They're leading now 4-2. One ball, 2 strikes to Javier. Low to him for a ball, 2-2. That ball's hit deep to center. Northrop backpedaling. Puts it away, and the Cards are out on the 5th, but they got 4 big runs. On 4 hits, the big blow, a 3-run homer by McCarver. There were no errors and 1 man left. We're halfway through at the end of 4 1/2. Cardinals 4 and the Tigers 2.
Is the pull to a fraction. Every time you shave, you wear off a little of the coating. But after many shaves, the plastic film still covers the edge of the blade. The edge of cold steel doesn't touch your face.
Gillette Super Stainless.
NBC will cap off a fabulous year of sports coverage. So far has included the Desert Classic, the All-Star Game of Baseball, World Series, AFL Championship, Sugar Bowl, the Rose Bowl, the Orange Bowl, the Senior Bowl, the Super Bowl, the AFL All-Star Game, all in color, exclusively on NBC. Now we're going to the last of the 5th inning. NBC will cap off a fabulous year of sports coverage. So far has included the Desert Classic, the All-Star Game of Baseball, World Series, AFL Championship, Sugar Bowl, the Rose Bowl, the Orange Bowl, the Senior Bowl, the Super Bowl, the AFL All-Star Game, all in color, exclusively on NBC. Now we're going to the last of the 5th inning, and moving in for the play-by-play, the telecaster of the Detroit Tigers. There used to be a star third baseman right here in this Tiger Stadium. Very happy to bring in George Kell.
Thanks, Kurt. Here's Don Wirth to lead off for the Tigers. Washburn delivers up high, and it's 1 ball, no strikes. The pitcher is scheduled to be the second batter. Nobody in the on-deck circle as yet. Don McMahon is throwing in the bullpen, so it could be we'll have a pinch batter. There's a pop fly that's going to be fielded on the first hop. I think Javier lost that ball for a moment. He went back. Now he's asking for the sunglasses. He lost that ball. Went back, fielded it on the first hop, and he just did get word at first base. So there's one out, and Tommy Magic, reserve infielder, is coming on to bat for the pitcher, Pat Dobson. Here's Magic swinging a bat. He batted .203 in the regular season. He had 3 home runs and 14 runs batted in.
Oh, George, the more you watch Javier, you realize what a quick pair of hands and the reactions he has.
Kurt, he's a fine ball player, and he seems to rise to the occasion in the World Series. Last year against the Red Sox, he was absolutely tremendous, and he's having another fine series. Here's Tommy Magic, batting with 1 out, nobody on. 1 strike. This one's fouled on the first base line. 2 strikes to Magic. This is his 7th season in pro ball. He started in the Cardinal organization back in 1962. Drafted for the Tigers after the 62 season. Lives in Freeland, Pennsylvania. 4-2, the Cardinals lead. We're in the 5th inning. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Cardinals got 4 runs in the 5th inning after the Tigers had scored 2 in the 3rd inning. It's 2-2 to Magic. He's batting for Dobson. Dobson replaced Wilson in the 5th. In the dirt. 3-2 to the pinch batter. Dick McAuliffe will be the next Tiger batter. Oh, it's a beautiful day here in Detroit. Yesterday it was cloudy, overcast, windy, and cold. Today it's perfect. He struck him out. Tommy Magic strikes out, and there's 2 down in the 5th. That's 3 strikeouts for Ray Washburn. And the batter will be Dick McAuliffe. He's had 1 of the 2 Tiger hits. That was a single in the 3rd, and Kaline followed it with a home run to give the Tigers a 2-0 lead. Tim McCarver's 3-run blast put the Cardinals in front. One ball, no strikes. I think the most surprising thing, Kurt, today has been both pitchers have been a little wild, more than we expected.
Right, Washburn now seems to be settling down, though, George.
Got the curve over. 1 ball, 1 strike. The scouting report on Washburn said that he was not wild. He'd get the ball over. I think he was a little disgusted with himself early in the ball game when he was missing. This one's fouled off the shin guard, I believe, of McCarver. No, hit him on the mask. 1 ball, 2 strikes. We're in the 5th inning, 2 outs, nobody on. Cardinals lead the Tigers 4-2. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Inside. 2-2. Cardinals have out-hit the Tigers 6-2. This one bounces up there. 3-2. Washburn was trying to take something off the fastball, and he held on to it a little bit too long. A ball 3 and a strike 2 count to Dick McAuliffe. Here's the payoff pitch. There she goes. A long belt to right. And it's gone. Dick McAuliffe brings them to their feet here in Tiger Stadium as he belted one deep into the seats in right field. And we've got a 4-3 ball game with the Cardinals in front. He hit a curveball, Kurt, just as McCarver did.
McAuliffe, fans that don't watch him a lot are surprised at his power.
Mickey Stanley, the batter. One strike. Washburn gave up only 9 home runs during the season in 215 innings of pitching. Today he's given up 2. One ball and 1 strike. Cardinals 4 and the Tigers 3. We're in the 5th inning. 2 outs with nobody on. This one was way up high. Ball 2 and strike 1. Washburn seems to be hurrying his pitches right now, something he wasn't doing earlier. Got the corner, 2-2. That was a good pitch. Hard slider that caught the corner. We're going to get some action in the Cardinal bullpen. 3 of the Redbirds are racing for the bullpen. Ron Willis outside, 3-2. Willis and Carlton, I believe. Carlton, a left-hander, and Willis, a right-hander. A ball 3 on a strike 2 count to Mickey Stanley. And the payoff pitch. He fouled it back. Al Kaline would be the next batter. Here's the bullpen. Willis, the right-hander, Carlton, the left-hander. Here's one off the foot of the pitcher, and it's going to be an easy out for Cepeda as he hit a line shot off the foot of the pitcher, and it bounded right over to Cepeda. The Tigers get a run in the inning. 1 run on 1 hit, a home run by McAuliffe. Nobody left, and the score at the end of 5. The Cardinals 4, Detroit 3.
Announcing your next car, the great new Chrysler.
Your next car is here.
Your next car can surround you with a curved new fuselage design where body and frame are one.
Your next car.
Your next car can be a quiet unity of glass and steel with a soaring symmetry of motion. Your next car can be an extension of your own exhilaration of movement. Your next car is here at a price you can afford.
Chrysler. Your next car is Chrysler.
The great new Chrysler for 1969.
We pause now for station identification. This is the CBC Television Network.
There's a good view of downtown Detroit as we come back to Tiger Stadium in the 6th inning. We're going down to Tony Kubek now in the stands.
Thank you, George Kell. You know, the first game of the World Series, it was Bob Gibson who broke Sandy Koufax's record. The fellow standing next to me, held that record before Sandy Koufax. Carl Erskine, did you see that ball game Gibson pitched?
Yeah, I did. You know, I enjoyed it all the way up to 14, and then, you know, I had a little... but he was great. He's tremendous, and, of course, we know it. And everybody in this park's looking forward to seeing him again tomorrow. See if we can do it again.
Carl Erskine, thank you so much. Let's go on back upstairs to Kurt and George.
Thank you, Tony. Don McMahon is the new Tiger pitcher, 38-year-old right-hander. This is his 8th World Series ball game. He pitched 6 for the Braves in the 1957-58 World Series, and he pitched in the first game of this one down in St. Louis. He'll be facing Dow Maxwell, Ray Washburn, and Lou Brock. Cardinals 4 and the Tigers 3. 1 ball, no strike. Maxwell flied to left field in the second inning. Lined hard to the pitcher, who knocked it down and threw him out his second time up. Here's a ground ball wide at first. McAuliffe to Cash, and he's out. Cash almost made that a tough play. He went for the ball, and would have been some question as to whether McMahon could have beaten Maxwell there or not. So there's 1 out in the 6th, and the batter's Ray Washburn. He's bounced to Stanley at shortstop and struck out. One ball, no strike. Don McMahon pitching in relief of Dobson, who relieved Earl Wilson. Big, hard-throwing right-hander. There's a fly ball to right. Kaline is there, puts it away. So Washburn becomes out number 2 in the 6th inning, and the batter will be Lou Brock. The Tigers have not been able to get Brock out all day. He walked in the first, singled in the third, singled, and scored the first Cardinal run in the 5th inning. One strike. Curveball at the knees.
No, George, it seems hard to believe, but if he gets on, he has a chance to tie a World Series record of 7 stolen bases, and this is only the 3rd game of the series.
2 strikes. You've got to believe he's going to break it sooner or later. Don McMahon wasted no time with him, though. He got 2 quick strikes on him. He said, if you get on, you're going to have to hit your way on. Out with that. 1 ball, 2 strikes. We're in the top of the 6th, 2 outs, nobody on. Cardinals lead 4-3. Did he strike him out? He did. Brock checked his swing. Stan Landis said the ball tipped his bat and went into the mitt of Freehand. So it'll be a strikeout. No runs in the inning, no hits, no errors, none left. And the score as we go into the bottom of the 6th, the Cardinals 4 and the Tigers 3.
Wherever you are, whatever you're doing, feel confident. Stay dry with new Right Guard Antiperspirant, a completely new product from Right Guard. Right Guard Antiperspirant is a new defense against perspiration. It contains a tested agent that checks perspiration wetness. Feel confident. Stay dry. Get new Right Guard Antiperspirant in the silver can.
Give me a dozen lemon limes.
What?
Lemon limes.
Look, I can give you lemons or limes, but there's no such thing as a lemon lime.
No? Well, what do you call this? Gillette Foamy with lemon lime. Oh, smell it. It's not sweet like plain lime. The lemon keeps it tangy. See that? Gillette Foamy with lemon lime. Now could you give me a dozen lemon limes?
Sure, mister. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Well, we're going to the bottom of the sixth. The Cardinals are out in front of the Tigers by a score of 4-3. Detroit will be sending up the middle part of a batting order. K-Line will lead off. He'll be followed by Norm Cash and then Willie Hart. Good round of applause greeting K-Line as he steps in. He hit a two-run homer in the third that put the Tigers in front. One ball, no strikes. K-Line faked a bunt. He doesn't bunt much, but Shannon was playing extremely deep, and he wants him in close in case he rips a hard ground ball to the right or left of him. There's a strike, and it's 1-1. Outside, it's ball 2 and strike 1. Boy, it'll be a dandy here tomorrow. Bob Gibson and Denny McLean. A rematch of game number 1. Here's a tap hit slowly to short. Good play by Maxwell. This little fellow, like Kurt told you earlier, you don't know he's around, but he just makes all the plays. That wasn't an easy play on K-Line, but he made it. And he made it look easy. Norman Cash, the batter. He's popped to short and bounced to second. One ball, no strike. This is nothing strange for the Tigers to be behind in the 6th, 7th, or 8th inning. They stay a run behind, and they figure their home run bats can pull them out. Ball 2 and no strikes. 40 times Alan Roth tells us they pulled it out in the late innings. This one's foul. Right into the Cardinal dugout. So ball 2 and a strike 1 count to Cash. We're in the bottom of the 6th. 1 out, nobody on. Cardinals 4 and the Tigers 3. This is Ray Washburn, a very intense young man. Outside. Ball 3, strike 1. It's going to start that Cardinal bullpen again. They were throwing last inning. Ooh, Cash had a rip at a fastball, 3-2. Dick Hughes, big right-hander, throwing in the bullpen right now for the Cardinals. 3-2 to Cash. He fouls it back.
George, of all the Tigers we've talked to before the series and during the series, this fellow seems to be about the loosest.
He's the most relaxed man on the whole ball club. He is all the time. In spring training, during the season, World Series. Every day's a new day for Norm, and he lives it that way. Great fellow. Great competitor. Nope, be checked. Norman Cash gets a walk. He almost went for the bad curve. Well, here's Willie the Wonder coming on. You can hear the roar going up. Here's the leading home run hitter for the Tigers. Billy Muffet is coming out of the Cardinal dugout. Billy, the pitching coach of the Cardinals. We've got a left-hander and a right-hander in the Cardinal bullpen. Joe Horner, the left-hander. Dick Hughes, the right-hander. Here they are. Remember that Billy Muffet, Kurt, how fast he used to pitch?
He really pitched quickly. I remember he pitched a 1-0 game here at Tiger Stadium and hit a triple to win his own game. He moved pretty quickly back to that dugout with that weight he's got on him, too.
You said that. I didn't.
All right.
Willie Horton, the batter, with a runner at first and 1 out. Ball, it's up high. I would think, and I don't know, but I would think, Kurt, that Washburn has thrown more fastballs today than he intended to throw. He's been missing with the curve and then tries to get the fastball away. This one's foul. It's a ball and a strike.
I talked to, fellows like Harry Walker, Gene Mott, the managers in the National League who know Washburn, and they said he won't throw the fastball for a strike. He'll show it to you, but he won't throw too many of them, but he'll give you the breaking stuff. He's got a good fastball today. It's been a good.
I don't know why he doesn't want to throw it for strikes. He's throwing hard. He's thrown very few over the plate. Outside, it's ball 2 and strike 1. Tigers got 2 runs in the 3rd inning to take a 2-0 lead. The Cardinals came back with 4 in the 5th, and then McAuliffe hit a home run in the bottom of the 5th to make it 4-3, and that's where we stand. Cash is at first base, 1 out. Ball 2, strike 1 to Willie Horton. He just missed again. 3-1. Well, we said that Wilson was a pitch away a couple of times. Washburn might be a pitch away from being relieved right here, with a left-hander coming up and a left-hander in the bullpen, but that remains to be seen. The 3-1 pitch. He walked. The 4th walk given up by Ray Washburn. Last 2 coming in this inning to Cash and to Horton, and here's Billy Muffet coming out again. He's got the left-hander, Joe Horner, throwing down there, and the left-handed batter at the plate, Northup, and he wants Joe Horner. And this was almost a foregone conclusion, Kurt.
Washburn, right now, George, there's a break in the action here at Tiger Stadium. And the score is St. Louis 4 and the Tigers 3.
Dodge Fever saves the day. He lost his head over Dodge Coronet.
Dodge Coronet, Design 69, proving it costs less than you'd think to go first class on a 117-inch wheelbase. Coronet, trim enough outside to handle quickly, easily, big enough inside to handle a crowd in comfort. 17 Coronets to choose from, including the Coronet Super B with 383 cubes of standard V8. A wild new way to get Dodge Fever.
Dodge is turning up the fever now. Get your cure for a new Dodge Fever now.
Dodge Fever at your Dodge dealer.
Go down in the stands and find our roving reporter, Tony Kubek.
Thank you, George Kell. Here's an old manager of mine, and you know, Ralph Houck, I didn't recognize you. I thought you were a movie star until you took those glasses off.
Well, not quite that, I don't think, Tony. Nice to talk to you, though, and see you.
Ralph, you know, you're an old catcher, and we've seen Lou Brock so far in this series. How do you keep him off base? What do you do with Brock gets out?
Well, Tony, he looks like to me one of those fellows there's nothing much you can do about it. You try to hold the ball on him, you pitch out, but it looks like he can steal the base anyway, and I think his records prove that. I think that what you got to do is just try to keep him from getting on that base any way you can.
Ralph, if you were managing this Tiger ball club, what strategy would you use against the Cardinals?
Well, I think that you can only do one thing, and that's do just what Mayo's doing, try to get the runs against them. They've got the power, and it all depends on their pitching. Of course, they're going to have to beat that Gibson.
That's a tough chore.
Yeah, that's rough. He looks real good, but I think Detroit's going to win it.
Ralph, thank you so much. Now let's go back up to Kurt and George.
Thank you, Tony. Well, Joe Horner's the new pitcher. He won 8 and lost 2 and saved 13 ball games during the regular season and a fine earned run average, 1.47. This is his second ball game in the series. He pitched in game number 2. 1 strike. Washburn pitched 5 in the 3rd innings, gave up 3 hits, 3 runs. He walked 4 and he struck out 3. One strike to Jim Northrup. 2 on, 1 out. Fouled it back, and it's 2 strikes. Horner won 8 ball games during the season, and all 8 of his wins were extra inning ball games. There's the shadows again that Kurt was talking about earlier. Washburn pitched 5 in the 3rd innings, gave up 3 hits, 3 runs. He walked 4 and he struck out 3. One strike to Jim Northrup. 2 on, 1 out. Fouled it back, and it's 2 strikes. Horner won 8 ball games during the season, and all 8 of his wins were extra inning ball games. There's the shadows again that Kurt was talking about earlier. Makes it tough on the hitters right now. The pitch to Northrup. He pops it up on the infield. Javier makes the play, and there's 2 out. So Horner comes on to get the left-handed batter. 2 out with 2 on, and the batter will be freehand. Harold Patterson, a big right-hander, is throwing in the bullpen for the Tigers. Larry Jasper and Dick Hughes. This is Patterson throwing for the Tigers. Jasper and Hughes throwing for the Cardinals. Freehan is looking for his first hit in the World Series. This would be a good time for the Tigers. They trail by a run, and they have 2 runners aboard. Ball, it's outside. 1 ball, no strike. Kaline opened this inning with a ground ball to the shortstop. Cash walked. Willie Horton walked. That brought on Horner to pitch to Northrup, and he got him on a pop-up to the second base. Outside, it's ball 2 and no strike. Freehan was Mr. Big for the Tigers during the regular season. In the World Series, he has not been able to get started. But he's dangerous at all times. This one's foul down the left field line. Makes it a ball 2 and a strike 1 count to Bill. Base runners, Cash at second, Horton at first. Cardinals lead 4-3. We're in the bottom of the 6th inning. Foul back, and it's 2-2. Ball 2 and a strike 2 count for this big fella. Joe Horner looking in. Just got a piece of it. He almost got that one by him. 2-2. Horner's fastball tails away from a right-handed batter and comes right in on the left-hander, right in on the fifth. Fly ball hit the left. Brock back on the warning track. He's got the room, and he puts it away. Freehand got under it. Hit it high into the air to left field, and Lou Brock made the play. No runs in the inning. No hits, no arrows, 2 left, and the score at the end of 6. The Cardinals 4 and the Tigers 3.
Jeremy I. Parsons got a red convertible loan from the Canadian Imperial Bank of Commerce and bought a blue fastbag with buckets. You look great in blue, Jerry. On the other hand, Wilfred S. Hughes got a Commerce red convertible loan and bought a beige sedan.
You picked me up at the hairdresser's. You could... Wilfred, watch out for that truck. Wilfred, it says no left turn. Take me down to Mary Jane's.
Well, sure beats walking, eh, Willie? Meanwhile, Miss Charis D. Holmes got a Commerce red convertible loan and bought a pickup truck. How do you like them apples, eh, Charis? Wouldn't you like a Commerce red convertible loan? You might even get a red convertible. Whatever you want, from cars to cameras, boats to broadloom, get it with a bank plan loan from the Canadian Imperial Bank of Commerce. You'll find it easy to arrange. Just talk to the man at the Commerce.
Jim Simpson and Sandy Koufax will be bringing World Series report your way again tomorrow at 12:30, 11:30 Central, just before the 4th game of the World Series, and the second meeting between Bob Gibson and Denny McLain. Well, we're going into the 7th inning. The Cardinals have a 4-3 lead over the Tigers, and they'll be sending up Curt Flood to lead off, followed by Roger Maris and then Orlando Cepeda. Flood's 1 for 2 in this game. He walked in the first inning, fouled out in the third, but he doubled, drove in the first run of the game, and scored the second run in the 5th inning. He's facing Don McMahon. This one's foul.
Cardinals have pulled some good deals, George, over the years to build this present ball club they had. Here's one of the best when they got Flood from Cincinnati.
You've got to believe that. You've got to believe it. This fellow just developed into a great ball player. Here's a drive to right center. This ball is going to be up the alley. Kaline cuts it off. Flood hits for second, and now he goes back.
Fine play by Kaline.
Ball looked like it was a double and maybe a triple, and Kaline got over there quickly, and this gives you some indication of the respect the Cardinals have for Kaline's arm. So a long single for Curt Flood. He's at first with nobody out, and this is Roger Maris. Rod has walked twice today and struck out. He pops it down the left field line. It's going to drop in for a base hit. He's going to second. Here's the throw, and it'll be a double for Maris. Roger checked his swing on that one. The ball hit his bat and sailed over the head of Wirt down the left field line. So the Cardinals have runners at second and third with nobody out. And the batter will be Cepeda. Here's Mayo Smith coming out. Now, Mayo has made several trips out there today. He has Darrell Patterson, a right-hander, and John Hiller, a left-hander, going. Here they are. It's a young bullpen, as Kurt told you. Dobson's a young fella. Patterson, only 21 years old. Miller, 24. Boy, they've done a great job. They just practically saved the pennant during the middle part of the year, Kurt, when some of the starting pitchers could not get going.
When Lolick and Wilson were having sort of a starting pitching slump, put the youngsters out in starting, and they helped out, and the other two got themselves straightened around and helped the whole staff. You know, George, they talk about a strategy of keeping Brock and Flood off the bases. Between them now, they've been on 6 times in this game, Brock and Flood.
That's why the Tigers have been in constant trouble in this ball game. They're only trailing by 1 run, but they have been in constant trouble. Well, Cepeda's the batter, with runners at second and third, nobody out, and the Tigers have moved in close on the infield. Here's a long belt to left field. This one is well hit. It's gone, a home run. Orlando Cepeda hit a line drive over the left field fence. And another 3-run homer for the Cardinals.
He's happy. He had a bad World Series last year, and he really wanted to atone for it.
That's right, Kurt. He's a great hitter, and he had a bad World Series last year, and he couldn't figure it out, and started a little slowly this year, but you know he's going to hit.
Right.
Well, here's Mayo again coming to the mound, and we might get a pitching change right here. A single, a double, and a home run, and the Cardinals lead 7-3. The call has gone to the bullpen. I believe it's for Patterson. It is. It's going to be Patterson. He wants the right-hander. There's a break in the action here with the score, the Cardinals 7 and the Tigers 3.
Hello, you technical masterpiece, you. This time people are going to see what goes on inside a 69 Plymouth Fury, not just how beautiful you are. All the time we engineers spend giving you more room inside. And this gorgeous unitized body. Oh, sure it's gorgeous because we give it a 7-step dip and spray anti-rust treatment. And who's going to tell about the big brakes if I don't? And an enormous trunk. And the magnificent chrome steel torsion bars. Wait a second. Beauty is only guilty.
Go back down in the stands and find Tony Kubek.
Thank you, George Kell. I'm talking down here to the owner of the Houston Astros, Judge Roy Hoffines. Judge, are you happy about this National League right now?
Yeah, Tony, looks like we're doing right well here.
Let me ask you about this. Now, you've made a few contributions to both of these ball clubs, haven't you?
Yes, the last inning, up until Cepeda connected with one, we had McMahon pitching for Detroit and Joe Horner pitching for the Cardinals, and both of them came out of our organization. That's not necessarily to our credit, but at least we've got a participation in it.
Judge, let me ask you about Bob Gibson. He and McLean will be going tomorrow. What about that ball game? That's got to be the greatest thing ever to happen to baseball.
Has to be one of the great games, and I have an idea that the rubber arm of Gibson that we looked at all year will continue to be the same thing. With a little cool weather here, it'd be hard to improve on his last performance in St. Louis, but I think Gibson can go all the way and get stronger as he goes.
Judge Roy Hoffines, thank you so much. Now let's get back to Kurt and George.
Thank you, Tony. Well, Darrell Patterson, young right-hander, has completed his warm-up tosses. Jim McCarver steps in and we're ready to go. Cardinals have scored 3 times here in the 7th. They lead the Tigers 7-3. McCarver had a 3-run homer his last time up. 1 ball, no strike. Nine of the 10 runs scored here today have been by the home run route, or as a result of home runs. There's a pop-up on the infield. Wirt at third base, making the call. He's got it. So Tim McCarver pops to the third baseman. That's the first out in the seventh, and the batter will be Mike Shannon. Mike's 1 for 2. He's tapped to the pitcher, walked, and singled his last time up. Big, strong, right-handed batter. There's a tap down the third baseline. Wirt with a long throw. It's in the dirt, but Cash makes a good catch. Norman Cash brought it right out of the dirt. That's out number 2. The batter will be Javier. Cooley's 0 for 2. He walked in the second, struck out in the fourth, and flied to center field in the fifth inning. One ball, no strike. Cardinals have 7 runs on 9 hits, no errors. The Tigers 3 runs on 3 hits and no errors. A ball 2 and a no strike count. Cooley is laughing and talking with Stan Lambus now. When he left there the last time, he wasn't too happy with Mr. Landon. He's called out on strikes in the fourth inning on a 3-2 pitch.
A few runs make the difference, doesn't it?
Oh, it does. A little time lapse. There's a tap foul. Ball 2 and strike 1. I know how he felt. You hate to be called out on strike. You don't mind the first strike or the second one, but that third one, there's no recourse. It's just back to the dugout. A ball 2 and a strike 1 count to Hooley. With the pitch. Fly ball, center field. Could be an easy play for Jim Norton. He puts it away. So Patterson comes on and does the job, but the Cardinals get 3 runs in the inning on 3 hits. There were no errors, none left, and the scores we go into the bottom of the 7th. The Cardinals 7 and the Tigers 3.
Razor, made perfect.
Tomorrow, NBC Sports will bring an outstanding sports doubleheader your way at 12:30. World Series report, followed by the 4th game of the series. Second meeting between Bob Gibson and Denny McLain. Then we'll cap off the day with American Football League action. Boston at Oakland, Miami at Houston, Cincinnati at Denver. Check your local listings for the game in your area. Well, the Tiger fans are up for their 7th inning stretch, and the Tigers, noted for coming from behind, will have to do it here today. They're 4 runs down now in the last of the 7th. The Cardinals have matched them with power, and they've done it with men on. Don Word up, and we're going to have a pinch hitter following him, George.
Wayne Comer's out of the dugout. He'll be batting for Darrell Patterson. The pitch to Word. 1 ball, 1 strike. Don struck out in the second and bounced out in the 5th inning. It was Comer in the on-deck circle. 1 ball and 1 strike. He didn't exactly bounced out. He hit a pop fly to Javier. He lost it in the sun, then played it on the first hop with those quick hands, flipped it over to first, and he got it. Strike, he tossed the corner. 1 ball, 2 strikes. We're in the 7th. Nobody out, nobody on. Cardinals lead 7-3. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Word. In the dirt, it's 2-2. John Hiller, a left-hander, will be the new Tiger pitcher. He's throwing in the bullpen right now. Inside, that one was close. 3-2 to Don Wirtz. Here's Hiller. Canadian-born left-hander who has been a fine pitcher for the Tigers this year. A 3-2 pitch. He fouls it off and out of play. Tigers led briefly in this ball game. They got 2 runs in the third, but the Cardinals got 4 in the fifth. Tigers got a run in the bottom of the fifth to make it 4-3, but Cepeda's 3-run homer made it 7-3. There's a fly to right. Roger Maris moves in. Easy play for Raj, and there's 1 out. So Wirt is out on a fly to right, and the batter will be Wayne Comer. C-O-M-E-R. Comer will be batting for Darrell Patterson. One ball, no strike.
George, Horner looks like he's going to be a tough reliever here with his fastball tailing away from right-handers, and the left-hander has to hit against him. Probably an ideal man in this part.
There's a line drive to center, a base hit for Comer. Well, you put the jinx on him, Kurt. No, he's going to be tough, just like you said. Now, over in St. Louis, he wasn't impressive, but the scouting report the Tigers have on Horner, he'll get you out quicker than anybody in that bullpen. And he's been Mr. Big for them all year. So Comer comes through with a pinch single. He's at first with 1 out, and the batter will be McAuliffe. Dix had a single and a home run today. He's 2 for 3. Takes a strike. Carlson and Hughes are throwing in the bullpen for the Cardinals. Carlson, of course, is the left-hander. Hughes, the right-hander. McAuliffe had a long home run his last time up. Fouls it back, and it's 2 strikes. Kurt, I don't remember anybody throwing quite like Horner. He gives you the short arm treatment out there.
Probably a lot quicker to the hitter than he looks in the stands, too.
He is. That's what it is. That short arm, it's right on top of it. Strike 2 counts to Dick McAuliffe. Takes it up high. That's 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Cardinals were all talking about Lolich. He was quicker to them than they thought he was with that sneaky fastball of his.
And he wasn't exceptionally fast in St. Louis. Lolich can be extremely fast. In St. Louis, I didn't think he was. But he gives you a little of that short arm treatment, too. Fly ball on the infield. Javier moving back a couple of steps. He's got it. So McAuliffe pops to the second baseman for out number 2, and the batter will be Mickey Stanley. Watch this as McAuliffe lifts that foot, much like the late Mel Ott used to do. I don't know of any other player in baseball today that lifts that right leg like McAuliffe. Mel Ott did it. He had about 511 home runs, I think, in his lifetime career. Here's Mickey Stanley. Homer's at first, 2 outs. 1 ball and a strike. Mickey's 0 for 3, but twice in this ball game he's been robbed. He laced one through the middle the first time up. Javier was over there to make the play. His last time up, he hit a shot that hit Washburn on the foot and bounded right straight to Cepeda for the put out. Outside.
No strike. Bottom of the seventh. Cardinals lead 7-3. Two 3-run homers have been the difference. McCarver hit one in the fifth, and Cepeda hit one in the seventh. Three and 0 to Mickey Stanley. Well, you know he doesn't want to walk Stanley. Not with a 4-run lead and Kaline following Stanley. And I would imagine that's what McCarver's telling him to doing out there. Just throw strikes. Don't worry about putting too much on it. Just throw strikes. Here's a good shot from center field. He threw a strike right down the middle. 3-1 to Mickey. It'll be interesting to see if he's taking this 3-1 pitch, trailing by 4. Outside he was. The first walk given up by Horner. So the Tigers keep coming back. They have 2 on with 2 out, and the batter is Kaline. Owls had 1 hit. That was a 2-run homer in the 3rd inning. Owl is back, and it's 1 strike. It was a good pitch, Kirk, he made there. There would have been no home run on that one. The fastball tailed away from Kaline. If he'd have hit it, it would have gone to right field. Fastball of his is moving. What he was trying to do to Stanley when he walked him on the last pitch, it moved a little bit outside the plate. Tigers threatening in the 7th. They have runners at first and second with 2 outs, and they trail in this ball game 7-3. 1 strike to Al Kaline. Ground ball, second base. Javier over to Maxson. The inning is over. So for the Tigers in the 7th, no runs on 1 hit to Villanueva. 2 left, and the score at the end of 7. St. Louis 7, Detroit 3.
A truck is a truck. Right. Wrong. 69 Dodge and Fargo trucks are sport trucks. Here, take a look. New cushion beam suspension. Chrysler took the elastic off the bankroll to completely re-engineer the suspension and steering on Dodge and Fargo pickup trucks. A sway bar was added. Springs redesigned. Liners added, and a lot more to make 69 Dodge and Fargo trucks the sweetest handling pickups on the road under any load, bar none. Bumps flatten, potholes smooth out, rides like a limousine. And that's not all. Handsome new long line styling and comfortable luxury interiors prove you don't have to be ugly to be tough. Dodge and Fargo with cushion beam suspension. Sport Truck 69. See your Chrysler dealer for Sport Truck 69.
We pause now for station identification. This is the CBC Television Network.
Well, here's the new Tiger pitcher in the 8th inning, the left-hander, John Hiller. Go down to Tony Kubek right now in the stand.
Thank you, George. Cal, I'm down here with 3 real Tiger fans. What's your name, son?
Stephen Burke.
How about you?
Bill James.
How about you?
Frank Burke.
You look like you're ready for a foul ball.
I am.
You are? How many hot dogs have you had today?
1.5.
1.5? Well, you're doing pretty good. Boys, nice talking to you. Have a good time at the ball game. Now let's go back upstairs to Kurt and George.
Sign them up, Tony. They look like they might be future Tiger ball players. Hiller, the pitcher, he's won 9 and lost 6 this year. pitching to Dow Maxwell. 1 ball, no strike. Miller had a 2.39 earned run average during the regular season. There's a fly to center field. Northrop is there. He's got it. There's one away. Maxwell out on a fly to the center fielder. That'll bring up Joe Horner. He'll be batting for the first time today. He is pitcher number 2 for the Cardinals, and the Tigers have used 5. There's something a little unusual, Kurt. He throws left-handed and bats right-handed. Not many like that. Boy, he laced it into left field, a solid base hit.
Bats right-handed pretty good.
He does. He hit a curveball like a bullet in the left field. I was going to say that he was probably a pretty good hitter, and Alan Ross just said he had no hits at all during the regular season. Might have surprised him as much as it did Lois when he hit the home run. Well, here's that man, Lou Brock, coming on. Brock's 2 for 3. He's walked, singled twice, and he struck out his last time up. One ball, no strikes. Fred Lasher, a right-hander, is throwing in the bullpen for the Tigers. Got the fastball by him. 1-1. That single by Horner was the 10th hit of Tiger pitching today. Here's Joe at first base with Norm Cash. There's a base hit to right field. Kaline gets it on the first hop, and Horner holds at second. He had to dive back in there. He took one step around and then dived back. So Lou Brock gets his 3rd hit.
George Brock now has been on base 6 of his last 7 times. The Red Sox couldn't keep him off the bases last year. He reached only once in the first game this year, but he's going right back to work same way he did in the '67 series, on base every time you look up.
Might be the best way to put him on there, though. Put a pitcher on base in front of him. Curt Flood, the batter, with 2 on, 1 out. We're in the 8th. The Cardinals lead 7-3. One strike. Big overhand curveball to Flood. Cardinals have now out-hit the Tigers 11-4. It's pretty much the story of the ball game. There's a drive that is foul.
That single of Brock's, by the way, he becomes the first player in the series now to have 5 hits.
You know, they said Pepper Martin ran wild in the 1931 World Series, and he stole 5 bases. If Brock didn't have Horner in front of him, he might get 5 today. He's got to be the most exciting ball player in baseball today. If you're a Cardinal fan. In the dirt, good stop by Freehan. 1 ball, 2 strikes. There's a fly into left center field. Northrop coming over. Jimmy has it. There's 2 outs. So Kurt Flood is out on a fly to center. That's 2 down, and the batter will be Roger Maris. Roger got his first hit of the series his last time up. Fluke double down the left field line. Been on base 3 times today with 2 walks in the double. Joe Horner is at second base. Lou Brock at first with 2 down. Foul ball. 1 strike. Hiller has a little hesitation move as he pitches. If you watch it, we'll get a shot of it for you in a moment. Helps him to hold the runners close. Ball up high, 1-1. Bob Gibson and Denny McLain. Here we are. We'll watch this hesitation. See, kicks and holds for just a second before he delivers. Very effective with men at first base. Ball is high again. Ball 2 and strike 1. Started to tell you that tomorrow will be that pitching classic again. Bob Gibson against Denny McLain.
Gibson will be coming back with 3 days rest. He usually had 4 during the season.
Foul ball. 2-2. A ball 2 and a strike 2 count to Roger Maris. He's batting with 2 on and 2 outs in the 8th inning. The Cardinals lead 7-3. There's a bouncy wide of first. Cash has it. He'll flip to Hiller in time for the out. Roger Maris goes out. Cash to Hiller. No runs in the inning on 2 hits to Benavides, 2 left, and the scores we go into the bottom of the 8th. The Cardinals 7 and the Tigers 3.
In this remote part of Canada, people depend on the river. And by river, regularly as clockwork, Canadian Imperial Bank of Commerce brings banking service to them. The SS Jean-Briand is just one of the more than 1,350 commerce branches in this country. It's typical of commerce determination to make your banking convenient. Think how handy your own commerce branch is. Here's why. Because the commerce has more branches than any other bank on this continent.
Bank of Commerce, Bank of Commerce.
One of the world's great banks.
Well, we told you a moment ago that the 4th game would be coming up tomorrow, and it'd be Gibson against McLain. And Kurt Gibson will be going for his 7th series win in a row, and if he wins, that'll be a new World Series record.
McLain says it's going to be a different story, so we'll see tomorrow. 12:30 Eastern Time, World Series report, and then the game. And for those who've joined us late, K-Line hit a 2-run homer in this game in the 3rd. With the Tigers out in front 2-0. But in the 5th inning, 3-run homer by McCarver. Cardinals got 4 in the 5th. McAuliffe came back, a home run for the Tigers in the 5th to make it a 1-run game, 4-3. But Cepeda smashed a 3-run homer in the 7th. That's the way it is right now, 7-3. Horner relieved Washburn. And he's done a good relief job. He came on with 1 out, runners on 1st and 2nd in the 6th. He's allowed only 1 hit, 1 walk. And in the last of the 8th inning, he'll face Cash, Horton, and Northrup.
Well, one of the best quotes of the series, somebody asked Mayo Smith if Gibson beating Denny McLain in that first game destroyed Denny's confidence. And Mayo like to jumped out of his seat and he says, "Young man, you must not know Denny McLean." Here's Norman Cash to lead off in the 8th inning. Norm's 0 for 2 in this game. Walked his last time up. One ball, no strike.
Cardinals just waved the towel from their dugout, caught the attention of Brock and Flood, and moved them a step or two more toward the left field line.
1-1 to Cash. He'll hit left-handers into left and left center, but mainly Cash is a pull hitter. He fouls it back and out of play. 1 ball, 2 strikes. He does not hit left-handers well, but he's dangerous against left-handers. He swings and he connects and it's gone. But for an average, he doesn't hit left-handers well. Very relaxed young man. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Ooh, 2-2. Well, you can see the packed stands in the background. That's the center field bleachers, upper and lower deck. The 2-2 pitch. Strike 3 called. He got the fastball over, and Cash was called out on strike. So there's 1 away in the 8th inning, and the batter will be Willie Horton. Willie's walked twice today. He's 0 for 1 officially. Tigers have only had 4 hits, 2 of them by McAuliffe, 1 by Kaline, and 1 by the pinch batter, Wayne Comer. Willie was going for downtown Detroit with that one. 1 strike. Outside, 1 ball, 1 strike. I don't think we've received the attendance today, have we, Kurt? But it's a standing room only crowd, and I would imagine something better than 57,000 people. They seat about 55 here in Detroit. They probably sold 2,500 standing room seats. Willie went for the fastball. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Joe Harner doing a great job in relief for the Cardinals. Came on in the 6th inning with 2 runners aboard and 1 out. He's given up a walk and a single. No run. Here's the 1-2 pitch. He struck him out. Willie Horton strikes out, and there's 2 outs in the 8th inning.
Horner's really throwing hard, George.
Throwing hard, and as you said a moment ago, Kurt, the fastball is just tailing away from the right-handed batters, and that makes it doubly tough. Here's Northrup. He was the first batter to face Horner and popped to the second baseman. 7-3, the Cardinals lead. We're in the bottom of the 8th. Ground ball, first base. Cepeda has it. He'll make the play on assistance, and the inning is over. No runs in the inning, no hits, no errors, none left, and the score at the end of 8, the Cardinals 7 and the Tigers 3.
Just look what Plymouth's up to now. Just look what Plymouth's up to now. Driving will never be the same again for you.
Introducing the 1969 Plymouth. Fury. A whole new car. Longer, wider, completely redesigned from rubber to roofline. Belvedere, our mid-size success car. 26 models, 18 colors, 76 interiors. Valiant, the compact that didn't get bigger, just better. Barracuda, 4 great engines, 3 great bodies, and torsion bar suspension for true sports car handling. See what Plymouth's up to now at your Plymouth dealers.
Just look what Plymouth's up to now.
We pause briefly for station identification. Well, it's the 9th inning in Detroit, and the Cardinals have a 7-3 lead. Orlando Cepeda will be the leadoff man. He'll be followed by Tim McCarver and then Mike Shannon. Cepeda's had but 1 hit today in 4 trips, but it was a big blow, a 3-run homer in the 7th inning. One ball, no strike. Cardinals have 7 runs on 11 hits and no errors. The Tigers 3 runs, 4 hits, no errors. There's a long drive into left center field. Northrop has the room back on the warning track, puts it away. Cepeda is out on a towering fly ball in the left center field.
You know, George, the 2 players who had disappointing series, Cepeda and McCarver, have both had the 2 3-run homers today. Both were off with a bat this year, what the Cardinals thought they would do. Well, I imagine they're both happy about those home runs today.
You know they are. Here's McCarver. Singled in the 4th, hit his 3-run homer in the 5th. He's 2 for 4. 1 strike. Good curve ball at the knees. Well, we want to thank our statistician, Alan Roth, today, and our production manager here in the booth with us, Jim O'Gorman. Down low. Without him, it'd be a tough job, Kurt.
Tough enough.
Tough enough anyway, right. But they make it easy. Fastball is outside.
They do every Saturday on NBC's Major League Game of the Week. Do the same kind of job.
Here's the pitch. He taps it down the third baseline. Don Wirt to Cash, and McCarver is out. Tim had checked his swing on that when the ball hit his bat. So there's 2 outs in the 9th inning, and the batter will be Mike Shannon. Mike's had a single today in 3 official trips. He walked back in the 4th inning. One strike. Well, this Hiller's throwing hard. It's beginning to get a little bit cool in Tiger Stadium. The sun is settled behind the stands for the most part.
everyone's hit safely now in the Cardinal lineup, with the exception of the man in, Dal Maxwell.
He had one going, and Wilson knocked it down early in the ball game. He had a shot to the middle. Wilson knocked it down, tossed him out. One strike. This little fellow doesn't look like he belongs out there with all those big leaguers, but he's a pro all the way. The base runners, Shannon's at second, Javier at first. He fouls it off. This is going to be in the seats. Maxwell is 5'11". He weighs 160. 29 years old, born in Granite City, Illinois, now lives in St. Louis. Doesn't look that big. This is out of play, off to the right. Still 2 strikes to Dal Maxwell. 7-3, the Cardinals lead. We're in the top of the ninth with 2 on and 2 outs. This one's foul back. The last World Series game played in Detroit was 23 years ago today, on October the 5th, 1945. And the Chicago Cubs beat the Tigers 3-0. And Claude Passau pitched a one-hitter. Rudy York got the base hit. Hiller gets ready. Way outside, 1 ball, 2 strikes. The 1-2 pitch coming up. Too high, and it's 2-2. Here's the 2-2 pitch to Maxwell. Way up high, 3-2. Well, Hiller got 2 quick strikes on Dal, and now he's missed with 3. So the runners will be going on a 3-2 count with 2 outs. The 3-2 pitch. He walked. So Maxwell gets a walk to load the bases. The batter will be the pitcher, Joe Horner. This fellow's been to the plate 1 time today and lined a single to left field. You can see the governor of the state of Michigan still here, right behind Joe Horner, seated next to the Tiger dugout. Bases loaded with 2 outs. We're in the 9th. The pitch to Horner. Fouls it back. 1 strike. Cardinals lead by 4 here in the 9th inning. One ball, 1 strike. Hiller is not normally wild at all. We've had 12 walks in this game, which is a record for 2 clubs. The record is 19. Here's up high with a fastball. The record for 2 clubs is 19. We've had 12 on this one. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Horner. Well, at least we haven't approached that 19 mark, Kurt. course, we're not through yet. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Takes it up high, and it's 2-2. Keller hasn't worked in quite a while, and could be one reason for him being a little wild. Way up, 3-2.
Wild high.
Every pitch is up high. He got the first 2 batters in the inning. Then he got 2 strikes on Shannon before he lined a single to center. Javier lined a single to right. And he walked Maxwell on a 3-2 pitch. Now it's 3-2 to Joe Horner. He struck him. Got the fastball over, and Horner struck out. No runs in the inning on 2 hits to no errors, 3 left. And the score at the end of 8 1/2 innings of play, the Cardinals 7 and the Tigers 3.
Wherever you are, whatever you're doing, feel confident. Stay dry with new Right Guard Antiperspirant, a completely new product from Right Guard. Right Guard Antiperspirant is a new defense against perspiration. It contains a tested agent that checks perspiration wetness. Feel confident. Stay dry. Get new Right Guard Antiperspirant in the silver can.
10 more blades to go.
5 blades to go.
3? Just 3 blades to go? That's it? I used up all the old blades? Now I can use the new Gillette Super Stainless Steel blade with the miracle plastic coating on the edge. They say it's supposed to spoil you.
The spoiler.
Well, it's the bottom of the 9th at Tiger Stadium, and the Tigers trail in this ball game 7-3.
A very, very quiet crowd here. After Cepeda hit the 3-run homer in the 7th, Tiger fans haven't had much to cheer about. Capacity crowd tomorrow, Gibson and McLean. Same time, 12:30 Eastern Time. Joe Horner has now pitched 2 2/3 innings of relief, allowed just 1 hit. Pinch hit single by Comer. He's been very strong. He's been sharp around the plate. And let's see what the Tigers do now in the last of the 9th, George.
Phil Freehand will lead off. This big fella is looking for his first World Series hit. Freehand, Wirt scheduled to be the next batter, and then the pitcher. He pops it up behind the plate. McCarver coming back near the seats. It is on the screen. Freehand today has walked, and twice has flied to left field. Well, you can hear the Tigers' faithful fans cheering them on here in the bottom of the 9th. They've seen so many of these patented rallies this year, they just don't give up. Outside, and it's 1-1. Carlton and Hughes are throwing in the bullpen. Carlton a left-hander and Hughes the right-hander. Down low, and it's ball 2 and strike 1. High fly ball to center field. Kurt Flood coming in. He's got it. Freehand is out on a fly to center. That's the first out in the 9th inning, and the batter will be Don Wirt. Jim Price has moved into the on-deck circle. He's going to bat for the pitcher, John Hiller. 1 ball, no strikes. Strike, keep up the corner. 1-1. We're in the 9th inning. 1 out with nobody on. The Cardinals lead 7-3. Ground ball to the shortstop. Maxwell over to first. He's out. Dow. Price has moved into the on-deck circle. He's going to bat for the pitcher, John Hiller. 1 ball, no strikes. Strike, keep up the corner. 1-1. We're in the 9th inning. 1 out with nobody on. The Cardinals lead 7-3. Ground ball to the shortstop. Maxwell over to first. He's out. Dow will have a little trouble getting that one out of his glove, but just for a moment. So there's 2 down in the 9th, and here's Jim Price coming on to bat for John Hiller. Jim, the second-string catcher on this ball club, hasn't caught a lot this year with Freehand in the lineup. Takes a strike at the knee. So Horner is only 1 out away from nailing it down for Ray Washburn and the Cardinals. This will be out of play. 2 strikes. What a job of relief pitching Joe Horner's turned in today.
These right-handers just haven't been able to get around on him.
No, sir. He's kept that good live fastball tailing away from the right-handers all day. This is Mayo Smith from the Tiger dugout. He's seen better days. Outside, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Red Shandy over in the Cardinal dugout. He couldn't be more pleased, I would imagine. There's a fly ball hit the left field, not deep. Should be the ball game. Lou Brock pounds his glove. He's got it, and it's all over. So Jimmy Price out on a fly to left. Horner puts him down 1, 2, 3 in the 9th. No runs, no hits, no errors, none left. Final score of the ball game, the Cardinals 7 and the Tigers 3, and this young man right here, Joe Horner, being congratulated by his teammates, turned in a great performance today. Came on in the 6th inning in relief of Ray Washburn, and Kurt, he was just absolutely tremendous. He was the difference in the ball game. The Tigers didn't get that kind of relief pitching, and the Cardinals did.
So the Cardinals won a big one here. The home Tiger Park was supposed to be an advantage of their power. The Tigers did hit 2 homers today, but the Cardinals hit 2 bigger ones, with McCarver and Cepeda each hitting home runs with 2 men on. And then with the relief pitching, the play of Lou Brock, the Cardinals now go out in front in the series 2-1. They bring Gibson back tomorrow, and McLean will go against him. Ray Washburn is the winner here. That's his first series victory. The loser is Earl Wilson, who was charged with the first 3 runs. And the Cardinals had to come from behind. They were trailing 2-0 when they came up with the 4 runs in the 5th inning. Tigers added a homer in the 5th up with McAuliffe, and 3 more by the Cardinals in the 7th. Nailed it down, and they win 7-3 with 13 hits, while the Tigers had only 4 hits. So right now, let's get down to Tony Kubek.
Thank you, Kurt Gowdy. I've got two guests right now. Tim McCarver, Orlando Cepeda just coming into your picture. Tim, how do you like this ballpark?
It's a good park to hit in, Tony. The ball I hit is just a routine flat ball in our park, but here in Detroit is a home run, and I was happy to do it.
Orlando Cepeda, last year, and we won't even talk about it as a matter of fact. I'm sorry I mentioned that. This year, a home run must be one of your big thrills in baseball.
The biggest hit of my life, Tony, because we were behind. We were in front 1 run, and then we came back with 3. And, having done too well in the World Series, and I was very happy. The biggest hit of my life.
Orlando, do you think you've been pressing a little bit? Is that the reason, or you're just not swinging the bat? Well, what seems to be the reason?
No, I feel great. I don't think maybe pressing a little bit, but I'm feeling very good. And, that's baseball.
Tim McCarver, let's talk a little bit about the Tigers. You know, every time around World Series time, it seems a feud seems to develop. Lolich, Brock, McAuliffe, somebody else. Not to accuse anybody. Are they newspaper stories, or do these things really exist?
I think they exist, Tony, because I think that each team wants to win so badly that I don't think a lot of the players really mean it maliciously when they say that, Mickey said Lou was a show, but I don't think those things are. I think it's just said out of anger, probably, or something like that. And after all, both teams are trying to win so badly, and with the competition and everything, it's kind of tough not to say things like that.
Orlando, I asked Tim this just a moment ago. How would you like to hit in this ballpark all year long?
It's a great hitting ballpark, Tony. The ball I hit today, I hit the ball in St. Louis the first game just like that, and it's going nowhere. And you see Timmy going for the long terror to right field. It's a good hitting ballpark, very good.
Tim, I know you want to talk a little bit about today with the home run and everything, but let's get briefly into tomorrow. McLean versus Gibson. McLean the last time did not appear to have good stuff. Did you ever see him pitch before that first ball game?
Never in regular season play, Tony. I saw him in spring training. Of course, you can't tell down there because the guys aren't in shape. But I tell you, I think Denny may have a little edge tomorrow on Bob because Bob went 9 innings the other day in the first game, and Denny went 6, and this might be a big factor tomorrow.
Tim, I want to ask you something about a player in your own ball club. The Tigers have not been able to stop Lou Brock thus far. Boston couldn't do it last year in the World Series. You're a catcher. What can be done with a fellow like Lou Brock?
Well, I will say I'm glad that he's on our side, Tony. I don't know. I think he's the most exciting ball player in the game today. He can do it all. He can throw. Everything's underrated. His fielding. He outruns the ball in the outfield. What few mistakes he does make, he can throw. He can run. He can hit. He can hit for the long ball. He can bunt. He can do anything you want to have done for a leadoff hitter. He's just a fantastic ball player, and I think he's the one that deserves the credit, and I don't think anybody on the Tiger staff or any of the catchers in the National League should be criticized. I think Lou should be given the credit that he so richly deserves.
Orlando, I think you'll agree that you've got a 2-1 edge right now, but you've got a couple more games going in Detroit. Do you think this series is going to go back to St. Louis?
I hope not, Tony. We got Hood going tomorrow, and the way he can pitch, we got a chance to win. But they have a great ball club, and they should be a very good series for the fans.
Orlando, what has impressed you about the Tigers? Of course, McLean, you didn't see him with his good stuff, but some of the players like Kaline today hit the ball out off Washburn. What else has impressed you about this Tiger ball club?
Well, they have a great ball club, Tony. They never give up. They're always after you. They got a great pitching on Lolich and McLean, great hitting ball club, and I think that they have a great ball club, and we have a great ball club, so they have 2 good ball clubs in the series.
Tim, what about your impressions of the Tigers?
Well, they've got some awesome power, I'll say that, Tony, and of course they use it very well in this ballpark. I think this is tailor-made for their ball club. I don't think that we would be as effective in this park as we are in Busch Stadium because I think it would hurt our pitching a little bit.
Tim McCarver, Orlando Cepeda, congratulations once again on the home run. We'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you very much, Tony.
Now let's go on back upstairs to Kurt Gowdy and George Kell.
Thank you very much, Tony, for another good job. And so tomorrow, Bob Gibson and Lou Brock will be shooting for all-time series record. Gibson can be trying for one if he wins his 7th consecutive World Series game in a row. Lou Brock has already stolen 6 bases in this series in 3 games, and he can tie his own record with a stolen base tomorrow. If he gets a couple of more, he can break it. Brock now has 13 stolen bases in 17 games. Brock had 3 hits, a walk, 3 stolen bases today. Flood was on base with 2 hits and a walk, on base 3 times. 3-run homer by Cepeda, 3-run homer by McCarver was the offensive story for the Cardinals. with the excellent relief pitching of Horner and some courageous pitching by Washburn, who pitched out a jam. And, of course, for the Tigers, Al Kaline getting his first series homer, a two-run homer, McAuliffe hitting a home run, but the Tigers were really shackled there from the fifth inning on with the excellent relief pitching of Horner. It was 7-3, and now it's a win and a loss and a win for the Cardinals. And tomorrow, we heard Tim McCarver, George Kell, mention about Gibson, who usually pitches with 4 days rest, coming back now with 3 days rest, going the distance, while McLean pitched only 5 innings the other day in St. Louis, and he's back to his normal 3 days rest and 8 years younger.
I don't think it'll have a lot to do with it, Kurt. Gibson is sort of like Brock to me. Nothing that he does will surprise me, and with 3 days rest, I think he'll pitch just as well as he did with 4 days rest. And, of course, McLean is coming back with his normal 3 days, and even though he only pitched 5 innings, this has nothing really to do with it at all. And it's going to be another great ball game. I look for both pitchers to be great tomorrow. Maybe not 17 strikeouts, but it'll be a great pitching performance by both pitchers.
Well, we hope you're tuned. 12:30 Eastern Time tomorrow. World Series report. Game 4, Bob Gibson against Denny McLean. This game is authorized under television rights granted by the Commissioner's Office solely for the entertainment of our audience. And any publication, reproduction, or other use of the pictures, descriptions, and accounts of this game without the express written consent of the Commissioner is prohibited. So the Cardinals take the lead in the 1968 World Series. And this is Kurt Gowdy with George Kell and Tony Kubek reminding you to join Jim Simpson, Sandy Koufax again tomorrow at 12:30 Eastern Time for World Series report, to be followed by Game 4 of baseball's annual classic. The third game of the 68 World Series has been brought to you by
Gillette, makers of new Right Guard antiperspirant in the silver can. By the more than 1,350 branches in Canada of the Imperial Bank of Commerce. And by
Chrysler Canada Limited and the Dodge, Plymouth, Roots, and Simca dealers who sell the quality engineered cars and trucks by Chrysler.
This is the CBC Television Network.